Welcome to All North Racing, powered by Pinty's here on MAV TV Canada. I'm Greg Kellman. With me is Adam Ross. And Adam, tonight we've got night one of the Northern Summer Nationals. The big stories, we got some big names in the house here tonight.
Wow, Tony Stewart, Christopher Bell, Rico Abreu. Those are the big stars that have come in. Add to the mix all of the stars in the Northeast United States, Ontario, Quebec, from 360 dirt sprint car racing. 50 cars attempting to qualify for the 26-car field tonight, Greg.
We've also got late models, UMP modifieds competing against the Canadian modifieds, and the mini stocks are also here, so a bit of diversity over the couple of nights here we're going to have in the Northern Summer Nationals.
Well, when we began All North Racing powered by Pinty's, this was one of the weeks we really circled the calendar. 2 straight nights of live TV, 2 straight nights, 4 divisions of race cars here at Ohsweken Speedway. It is going to be non-stop action.
So sit back and enjoy because the stars are out tonight here at Ohsweken Speedway on All North Racing, powered by Pinty's.
Back to the site of it all, Tony, where you won your first Outlaw race. First off, welcome back.
Thank you. It's I didn't realize it was 7 years since we've been back here, but it's this is from the first time I came here. This became one of my favorite racetracks. So I'm glad we're finally back.
You've run great in the 360 and the 410 here. What do you change in your game plan to put the 360 package back in a place you ran so good in a 410?
Well, we've been running some 360 races this year, but we're not used to running the big wide tire again, so it's going to be a little bit of a relearning curve, I guess, if you want to call it that, to get back used to it. But you know, I got Jimmy Carr, who's been doing this forever since I think Jimmy started racing on stone right rear tires that they cut grooves in with chisels and hammers. So he'll figure it out. But like I say, this is a track I really like and feel like we get around here pretty well. So it's just a matter of like I say, just tweaking a couple things for what these tires like.
We had a bit of rain a half hour ago. It's not going to be an issue throughout the night, but does that change your setup at all, or is it too early for you guys to make those changes and have to adapt already?
Normally when you get a shower like that, the track's going to be pretty sticky and heavy, so we'll definitely have to plan accordingly. So I would say we'll have to change from what we were planning on. But you know, that's what makes this sport so much fun, is everybody in the pit area is going to have to do that as well and try to figure out now what do we do to plan ahead for what the racetrack conditions are going to be like.
We appreciate you being here. Thanks, Tony.
All right, man. Thank you.
All North Racing is brought to you by Pinty's Delicious Foods, making great food fun. Mr. Transmission, Canada's transmission and technology experts.
Take Mr. You're a friend of mine.
Well, we're here with Steve Poirier. Steve, the Northern Summer Nationals, you won the Canadian Sprint Car Nationals 3 times, but that's in September. What do you got to do to make it work here in July?
Yeah, we need to have a perfect car with the competition we got tonight. We had some good luck in the past. We need to be in good position, start with a perfect car, and we hope we could trigger that tonight.
Now, you've been fighting health a little bit. How do you stay hydrated and make sure you're up on the wheel all night?
Trying to, getting older, trying to sleep and like you say, stay hydrated and keep all the energy for tonight, which is, those are demanding nights. So you need all, at my age, all the energy you could to steer those powerful sprint cars.
Good luck tonight, Steve.
Thank you.
And with the wave lap going on, this is All North Racing powered by Pinty's. Here's how they're going to start this modified feature event. Number 87 is Andrew Hennessy. He'll start on the pole. Alongside him in the 00, it's Jim Dale Jr. The 91 is Craig Handley. The 71 is Al Brewer. The 5X is Tim Richardson. Driving the 3 is Nathan Rinaldi. In the 32, it's Doug O'Blennis. The 71L is Dennis Lunger. 07 is Curtis King. Alongside him in the 99 is Link Brown. The 14 is Brant Graham. The 98P is Patrick Lejeunesse. 47B is Joe Brousseau. Alongside the 22S is Brian Spielman. 39 is Jonah Mutton. The 5 is Jerry Martin. The 1 is Sean Gregory. The 29 is Rich Sanders. The 49 is Brett Hope. The 12 is Kyle Sopaz. The 69 is Dennis DeSerrano. The 26 is J.J. Bellew. 36 is Daryl Huckster. And rounding out the field, the 4F is Jim Fletcher. That is how they came to the green flag. And we've got problems off of turn number 2. A couple of cars getting together. One of them spins down to the infield. I believe that's Brousseau in the 47B. We will stay under green as Brousseau has spun it far enough out of the way that it doesn't pose a safety concern. Out in front, it's Andrew Hennessy holding off Jim Dale in that 00. Also right there in the mix is Dennis Lunger in the 71. What a battle at the front of this one. Andrew Hennessy taking the short way around on the bottom, but Dennis Lunger using that outside groove to perfection, really able to put the power down. He'll take the lead and immediately start to pull away from Hennessy down into turn 3. They are going to be in heavy traffic very quickly. Lunger gets around the first of the slower traffic. Andrew Hennessy gets by as well, using the bottom groove up out of turn 2. So Lunger having to change up his line. He got the lead working the outside, but a lot of the slower cars are using that outside groove of the racetrack. So we'll see if this lends itself to the line Andrew Hennessy is running. In fact, Hennessy's starting to close the gap on the leader. Across the stripe, Lunger with a healthy advantage. Andrew Hennessy had some problem with that slower car. That allows Lunger to get out by about 15 car lengths. He'll drive to the inside of Hoekstra down into 3, and now Lunger with some clear racetrack out in front for at least the next couple of laps. Great battles all around the racetrack. Lunger gotta like what he's seeing outside the screen of that 71 in front of him. A couple of lap cars, but he should have an easy time of the next number of laps. Big problems for Hennessy in the 87. Tried to get to the inside of Hoekstra. That lane closed up very quickly, and he got bottlenecked. Now, more cars having trouble getting around the Hoekstra 36. The race leaders picked off a couple of more slower cars, working the bottom of the racetrack in 3 and 4. Some heavier traffic coming up for Dennis Lunger in that 71 machine. But second place, nearly a full straightaway back, and Andrew Hennessy trailing by 4.5 seconds right now at the stripe with 11 laps complete. The move over flag being displayed by to some of the slower traffic rather. And really there is no moving to the bottom or moving to the top for slower traffic. All they ask at the drivers' meeting is that they hold a line that allows the leaders to predict where the traffic is going to be as long as they hold a steady line. And right now this is all Dennis Lunger as he closes in on more traffic. I believe that's Jonah Mutton just ahead of him. He'll swing to the outside off of turn number 4. Makes a 3-wide move, does Dennis Lunger, to get around that slower traffic, but it is not looking any easier. He is about a lap and a half away from half a dozen race cars using an awful lot of racetrack. He has no way of knowing how big his lead is over Andrew Hennessy, but it's about a full straightaway as he drives to the bottom of the racetrack, picks off a couple of cars, headed down into turn number 3. Whoa, trouble for Hoekstra in the 36. Spins it around in 4. That's going to bring out a yellow flag with 4 laps to go in this feature event. And that changes things entirely. Dennis Lunger controlled this entire event, but that yellow flag is going to bring Andrew Hennessy, Al Brewer, Tim Richardson, and Craig Hanley right up on the back bumper of our race leader, Dennis Lunger.
For Andrew Hennessy, he really liked this caution flag because midway through that run, He was there within striking distance of Dennis Lunger, but got caught up behind the hookster number 36 and really got boxed in and lost all of that track position. So I'm going to be interested to see what Andrew Hennessy can do, as well as Al Brewer in the 71. He was kind of caught up in that as well. So a clean track in front of them to try and catch Dennis Lunger, but not taking anything away from Lunger. He's been really quick.
He's been dominant. And how about Tim Richardson in that 5X? That car was handling horribly in his heat earlier on. It was clear he had lots of horsepower, and if he could just tighten that race car up a little bit, you knew that he could be a factor. Let's see what he can do up here. Still a few positions being contested deeper in the field there. But on the lead lap, it would appear right now the top 11 still on the lead lap, according to electronic timing and scoring. Dennis Lunger in the lead, Andrew Hennessy in second, Al Brewer third in the 71, the 5X of Tim Richardson fourth, the 91 of Craig Handley fifth. 6th through 10th is the 14 of Brant Graham, the 32 of Doug O'Blennis, 00 Jim Dale Jr., the 3 of Nathan Rinaldi, and the 99 of Link Brown. The last car on the lead lap, running in the 11th spot, is the 12 of Adam Whaley.
5 laps left to settle this one for the Canadian Modified UMP Modified Challenge. Lunger and Hennessy bring him to the green flag. And they are back to full song, and here down to the inside comes Brewer as he'll slip by Hennessy into position number 2. Hennessy looks back down low, though.
Brewer with a big restart. Andrew Hennessy did not come up to speed all that well. Tim Richardson in the 5X, he was way crossed up in 1 and 2, and the same down in 3 and 4 with Jim Dale Jr. looking to the outside of the 5X.
Richardson on the outside of Craig Handley. Handley had the 4th spot momentarily, and now that is going to go away as here comes Jim Dale Jr. Now will kick Handley out of the top 5, but Handley digging back down deep in the bottom makes it a 3-car race off of 4.
Jim Dale Jr. giving a big push to Richardson down into turn 3. That was a nice save by Richardson. He was most of the way spun out, powered his way through it in a great battle for that 4th spot with 2 laps to go.
Out in front, Dennis Lunger has picked up where he left off, and neither Brewer nor Hennessy were able to do anything with the drive of the 71 machine. They're 2nd and 3rd. Richardson holds down 4th, and now it's he and Jim Dale Jr. in that dance for 4th and 5th place as Craig Handley's gone back a spot. Brant Graham got sideways, bottlenecks up the pack behind him. Doug O'Blennis with a quick move to slow his car up.
Yeah, Doug O'Blennis did a nice job to avoid that. Almost picked up a position out of the deal as well, as we've got 1 lap to go.
Here comes Dennis Lunger down the back stretch and into corner number 3. Dominant from the drop of the green flag off of corner 4. And Dennis Lunger is going to pick up the UMP Modified Canadian Modified Challenge here at Ohsweken.
Al Brewer finishes 2nd, Hennessy 3rd, Richardson, Dale, Craig Handley, then Brant Graham, Link Brown, Doug O'Blennis, and Adam Whaley rounding up, the top 10 as we've got them crashing across the stripe here on the front straightaway coming through the checkered flag.
Rich Sanders involved down here on the front stretch along with Jerry Martin in car number 5. Sanders up against the wall here on the front stretch as we'll get ready to go down to Mr. Transmission Victory Lane and talk to our top 3 here tonight in the Modified Challenge race.
Well, here he comes, ladies and gentlemen. Dennis Lunger works his way out of the number 71L machine back here to Mr. Transmission Victory Lane for the first time on All North Racing, powered by Pinty's. How about a hand for your Modified Challenge winner tonight, Dennis Lunger? Tony in for Mr. Transmission. He'll present the trophy to you, Dennis. Congrats on another solid run here tonight. Dennis Lunger, what a run for you. I mean, we know you've run well here in Canada before, but what are your thoughts of Ohsweken here?
Oh, I love Ohsweken. That's why we towed up here for this modified show. When I seen this was on the schedule, I said we're going up there. So weather was a little iffy for us. It's about 7 hours round trip up here, but it's all worth it now. We're sitting here in Victory Lane, so it's all worth it. Slicing and dicing through some of the map markers here tonight. Talk about your drive. You got out front early, but it wasn't totally uneventful.
No,
I don't think the track really favored them. 602 Brighton cars too much tonight. These open modifieds, we definitely had the advantage tonight with the track being as heavy as it is with all the rain. But we ran up in Maryville too, and we finished second up there to Schrader with our 604 crate car. So we've been pretty good just about everywhere we ran. And like I said, we love coming to this place. I wish you guys had us more often.
There you have it. Greg and Adam, Dennis Lunger, your feature winner here tonight.
Great run from start to finish for Dennis Lunger. Not a big surprise to see him in Mr. Transmission victory lane, but definitely happy that he made the long journey. Back down to Clint with second place, Al Brewer.
Well, solid run here tonight. Dennis mentioned the modifieds had a bit of a shot here with the open motors tonight with the rain coming in, making it really tacky. Talk about your drive tonight.
Yeah, the track come around really nice for us. Actually, it took a little while for me to get going, but once we got going, I could stay with them a little bit better. But it was a beautiful track. I was afraid it was going to go south, but the guys did a fabulous job here.
Well, we worked it in. There's Al Brewer. We'll get over to Andrew Hennessy. Andrew, you're one of those Brighton cars who maybe didn't have quite the power you needed here tonight with, as we mentioned, the moisture really doing up a deal on this track. Talk about your drive.
Well, I thought the track actually had a lot of moisture in it. Probably helped these guys. I think with the crate motor there, I guess you're right, we were down a little bit on horsepower, but keep it around the bottom there and try and keep it hooked up all the way around. And I'm pretty happy coming home third, to be honest with you. I know the guy that won here a little bit, and he's a real good competitor. So hats off to them guys, and thanks for having us here tonight.
Good job, Andrew Hennessy. How about a hand for your top three down here, ladies and gentlemen? Dennis Lunger, your winner, Al Brewer, and Andrew Hennessy get it done in the Modified Challenge here at the Northern Summer Nationals.
So things wrapping up down there in the modified victory lane down in Mr. Transmission victory lane. 3 more features still to come here on All North Racing, powered by Pinty's. All North Racing is brought to you by Lucas Oil. Made in America, sold to the world. Go to InsideTrackNews.com for an exclusive subscription offer for MAV TV Canada viewers. Use promo code MAVTV. Welcome back to All North Racing, powered by Pinty's here at Ohsweken Speedway for the Northern Summer Nationals as we get ready for the HRW Automotive Mini Stocks and their 15-lap feature event starting from the pole in Car 7C from Welland. It's Cole Hardy. On his outside, going from the second spot, Steve Miller from Brantford in Car 79. Going inside of row number 2 out of York, Ontario, Car 9 is Tim DeBoer, and alongside him from Smithville, Mike Sarantakos in Car 6X. Starting inside of row number 3 in the 5th spot, Rob Goulding from Welland in car number 1R, and Rob Hoskins in the 37 will line up in the 6th starting position. Going from spot number 7, he's the birthday boy today from Ancaster in car number 19. It's Kyle Wirt, and to his outside the 265, that'll be Mike Evers from Caledonia. Going in spot number 9 from Waterford, the 46 of Wade Thorne, and to his outside, the 1 of Jason Tolton from Guelph will go off 10th. Starting 11th from Hagersville, the 23 is Dusty DeBoer, the 188, Paul Longboat from Ohsweken. Row number 7, the 93 of Chris Reichman, and the 10 of Zach Buckwald. Row 8, the 6 of Jason Dixon, the 88 of Aiden Nye. Row number 9 will be the 177 of Tim Jameson out of Ohsweken, and Kevin Thorne from Caledonia in the 360. Row 10, the 16 of Fabio Oliveri, and the 26 of Tim Newell. Row 11, the 21H of Ryan Hiller, the 69 of Rob Twitchett. Row 12, Tristan De Silva in the 01, the 16J of Jeremy May. Row 13, the 19T of Trevor Want, the 11E of Jeff Elslager. Row 14, Jonathan Ayrton and John Cote. And back in the final row, Brian Crossgrove and Christopher French. 2 cars tangled up on the backstretch. 2 more down in corner 1 with Trevor Want, Jason Dixon. Rob Hoskins and Wade Thorne were also collected on the backstretch, and we go under the caution flag here in the first lap for the mini stock feature event. So both Rob Hoskins and Wade Thorne were able to get their cars straightened and back to the tail of the field. Jason Dixon being attended to down in corner number 1 right now in car number 6. Jason has moved up the ranks to the crate sprint car division, but because they aren't racing tonight, he's back in his mini stock here tonight. And that left rear is pointed in the wrong direction.
Yeah, he's dog tracking a little bit as he heads up towards the pits.
Trevor Want looks like he will be able to, well, he's either going to continue on or he's going to park it in the infield here, but I believe he is hoping to join the tail of the field.
I thought he was headed to victory lane. Forget it. I'm going to stop right there.
Now Chris Reichman slow down here on the front stretch. I'm not sure if he has lost power or wanted to. I thought maybe he wanted to discuss a matter with someone, but clearly the 93 machine not under power, so they will get that car pushed.
Now, the last I saw him was in the pits. It was probably about 6:30, and he was looking for a place to park the hauler. A fairly small truck and trailer, but they are absolutely jammed back there. Reichman being pushed down into the pits, and obviously that car still doesn't look like it's up to speed.
So we'll try it again. 15 laps the distance here for our four-cylinder division. Cole Hardy, Steve Miller on the front row. Tim DeBoer in that number 9 machine. He's one of the point contenders here in 2019 at Ohsweken Speedway on a regular basis. And the point leader and the man to beat so far is that green and white number 19 of Kyle Wirt. As I mentioned, celebrating his birthday today. And by the end of the night, I'd expect him to be somewhere near the very front of the field. That's what we've seen so far this season.
And this is his kind of racetrack. It's a heavy track. Keep the pedal to the floor and just steer the car where it needs to go. Quite a start, dropping immediately to the inside as they're making contact through 1 and 2.
Making contracts they can't keep as Rob Goulding's right in behind. They'll go 4 wide into corner number 3. Wirt will squirt away from that, though, and now he gets, right. I thought he was going to hit the rear end of Miller's machine, but they somehow all make it out of 4.
And you could see he had the car loose, hard on the gas, and then the back end bit and sent the nose up the racetrack. I'm struggling to find my words tonight, Greg. There's just too much excitement.
It is after 11 Eastern here. Cole Hardy off of corner number 4. Leads the lap with Miller in tow. Sarantakos back there in the 3rd spot. Cole Hardy is make that Rob Harding into the 4th position, and Kyle Wirt working the bottom side. Now he'll slip into the 5th spot. Look at Wade Thorne. Remember, he had problems on that first green flag, and he is right there in the thick of it as well.
And we've talked about Wade Thorne in recent weeks here at Ohsweken Speedway, where he has had great runs week in and week out, but we don't talk about him quite as much as we've been talking about Kyle Wirt or the DeBoers, but he is one of the dominant forces this season in the mini stock division in that 46.
Dusty DeBoer right there. Right behind Wade Thorne, 3 wide behind him as you got Hoskins in there with Goulding and Tolton. 2 of those drivers not usually in the HRW Automotive Mini Stocks on a regular Friday night. Rob Hoskins runs with our Thunder Stocks. Rob Goulding, this is the first we've seen him here in 2019.
Out in front, Cole Hardy continuing to lead Miller in the 79, and how nice would it be to see Miller have a great run? He has been racing in this division for many, many, many years as we've got one around in turn 2. Pointed towards he pointed towards the outside of the racetrack, so we'll stay green, and this could be a challenge for the race leaders.
Kyle Wirt tucks in behind Cole Hardy as they work around the lapped car of John Cote. What a pack right behind the leaders, though. Miller on the outside, DeBoer on the bottom, Wade Thorne, Mike Sarantakos, Rob Hoskins, all in this lead pack.
Kyle Wirt to the outside of Cole Hardy in turn 2. They race off of the corner. Hardy with the advantage, and my goodness, look at that pack of cars. Steve Miller with a problem in the 79, dropping like a stone out of the top 10.
What a shame, too. He was holding in with the leaders there for quite some time, starting up at the front, now has drifted outside of the top 10. Out in front, here comes the challenge for the lead. Kyle Wirt's got it wound up on the outside line. He'll draw up alongside, door to door with Cole Hardy into 3.
Hardy's making good speed on the bottom. Kyle Wirt has been making good speed all season long in that green and white number 19. Halfway through this mini stock feature, Kyle Wirt, the new leader.
Sarantakos right now in that 3rd spot. And now Kyle Wirt goes straight up into corner number 2 into the hay bale. Something breaks on car number 19. And our point leader has troubles and brings us under the caution flag. 7 laps to go in this one.
Was it a flat right front or some sort of steering issue for Kyle Wirt? And I was going to talk about it, Greg. I was going to talk about the fact that his fire suit is the best fire suit in competition here tonight. As we have a look at the replay of the car just heading right up the racetrack. We look at deep in the field, our B main drivers. Ryan Hiller in the 21 has worked his way into the top 10, qualified for this one through one of our B mains tonight.
Our PR guy tonight, Tommy Gooch, said, did the steering wheel come off of Kyle Wirt's car? You know what? When I looked in, I thought something looked strange in the cockpit. That could very well have been what happened for Kyle Wirt.
That's a bad feeling.
Wow. Cole Hardy, Mike Sirentakos will bring us now to the green, and here comes Kyle Wirt. He's back out on the track, still on the lead lap and in contention. And if anyone can come back with 7 laps left to go, it's that guy.
7 laps. He's only got to pass 3 cars every lap.
Something just exploded down in corners 1 and 2 all over the track.
Somebody lost their igloo cooler in 1 and 2, and it absolutely erupted.
Body panels all over the place down in 1 and 2.
It'll be like a ticker tape parade as the field runs through it and picks it up. What on earth? Did someone drop their homework? My math binder. What is that pieces of?
Now that is a stuffed debris.
Yeah.
Or a stuffed caution. I still got the word debris in there. Stuffed caution. Was it Newell's car? The nose piece of Tim Newell's car. All the shrapnel. Well, most of it's been picked up. I just saw a piece roll out of the screenshot there, but the majority is gone now.
It's not always an exact science. Get the big pieces.
That's how you eat.
You're on fire tonight, Greg. I'm so proud of you. Cole Hardy in the 7 machine leading the way back to this restart. Mike Sirentakos in the 6X runs in the 2nd spot. Dusty DeBoer in the 23 is 3rd. Wade Thorne in the 46 is 4th, and rounding out the top 5 is Tim DeBoer in the 9. Ryan Hiller picked up a few more spots. He's up there in that 7th position. Tristan De Silva, another B main car, just outside of the top 10, and there are plenty of laps left. 6 laps to go in this mini stock feature.
Green flag back out. Cole Hardy will lead the pack, and they are already 3 wide behind him. Dusty DeBoer on the bottom, Wade Thorne in the middle, Mike Sirentakos on the outside. Here comes Tim DeBoer and Ryan Hiller. They make contact down in 1.
Wade Thorne up into that top 3. He gets moved up the racetrack. Is he going to stay on the outside? No, he'll drive to the bottom to try to make a move for 2nd. But Dusty DeBoer has different plans. DeBoer going to challenge for the lead on the outside.
Down into corner number 1 they go as DeBoer has the lead now over Cole Hardy in that 7C. Wade Thorne in position 3. Tim DeBoer still hanging there in the top 5. Here comes Rob Hoskins, Ryan Hiller, and Mike Sirentakos 3 wide and 3.
Hiller down to the bottom of that black number 21 machine as Fabio Oliveri goes around in turn 3. Everybody able to avoid that 16 machine. But wow, Fabio Oliveri in reverse, trying to get that car pointed where he needs it to be. That's a sketchy situation with the race leader, Dusty DeBoer, closing in. He'll take evasive action and drive to the inside.
Cole Hardy now will have to get by the 16 car as he's got company on the outside of him. That's Wade Thorne in the 46. Rob Goulding now has worked his way inside the top 5 in that 1R as he gets by Mike Sirentakos.
Goulding in that black number 1 as we've got 2 laps to go.
Kyle Wirt's done a nice job to get himself back up here in the thick of it. I think he needs a caution here to have a shot at the win, but he's had a nice rally here in car number 19.
Chasing that car up the banking, he loses some of his momentum. Dusty DeBoer, I was going to say he's got a visitor. That's Fabio Oliveri, who is a lap down after that spin in turn 3. White flag is out.
Final time around for Dusty DeBoer. Wade Thorne right now holds down second. The fight is for the third spot. Who will make it onto the podium and down to Mr. Transmission victory lane? Cole Hardy has a nose ahead of Tim DeBoer down the backstretch.
Yeah, Hardy with a nice run down the backstretch on the inside, trying to challenge Wade Thorne. Thorne going to slide up in front of DeBoer. The win goes to Dusty DeBoer, second place to Thorne. Cole Hardy rounds out the top three.
So Tim DeBoer will come home in fourth, and Rob Goulding with a nice run gets a top 5 finish. And Kyle Wirt, with the troubles early on, still drives up to an 8th place finish behind Ryan Hiller 6th, Mike Cerentaco 7th. Then it was Kyle Wirt 9th, Rob Hoskins, and Tristan De Silva, who came from the B main. Nice run for him to get up inside the top 10. We are ready to go down trackside to Mr. Transmission victory lane, where Dusty DeBoer about to climb out of his car number 23.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, here he comes out of his machine, getting ready to go. How about a big round of applause for your feature winner? Here comes his hat from our buddy Tony at Mr. Transmission. How about a hand, ladies and gentlemen? Here he climbs the number 23 for Dusty DeBoer. We'll get in here and have a word with Dusty. Solid run here tonight. We'll get Tony in here to shake your hand from Mr. Transmission.
Congratulations, brother. Well done. Good job.
You mentioned you like seeing Tony down here. That means things are going well for you, Dusty. You've had some solid runs, but none bigger than here on All North Racing, powered by Pinty's tonight.
Yeah, we had the redraw for starting positions tonight. We redrew the top 12. I drew 11th. I thought, oh, this is some pretty heavy hitters ahead of me, but the car was working really good around the middle of the track, and there was a bunch of guys up high. It was tough to clear them, but I had a couple of good restarts. And then Kyle had a problem, and it seemed like, I don't know, things just fell just right. And once I was behind the 7, Nicole Hardy, he was running the bottom. He was committed down there. I knew I was good up top, and yeah, the car just ate up there. It was pretty good. It's a little bit of character bumps around the track, but this thing likes it when it's a little bumpy. It makes up for the lack of handling in front-wheel drive. I'd like to thank Mert Timpsonato, Caledonia Auto Supply, Kick-Ass Metalworks, and DeBoer Machining for their help this year. And thanks to Mr. Transmission for putting on this victory lane, and Pinty's for putting on this program tonight.
There you have it, Dusty DeBoer. It's been quite a year for the DeBoer family, and Dusty keeps the tradition going. Guys, we'll be right back with second and third.
So back to victory lane for the DeBoer family, and they always like to celebrate together, and good to see Dusty DeBoer back down there in Mr. Transmission victory lane with a big check. And here's the runner-up, Wade Thorne with Clinton Jeffrey.
Wade, solid run for you here tonight. You've been in the mix a lot of these evenings as well on Fridays. Here we are on a Monday. Good run for you.
Yeah, it seems whenever MAV TV shows up, we perform pretty good. The car was awesome. We tried some new tires tonight. They really worked. We actually qualified really well, and we had a quick car, and there was so much contact at the beginning of the race. I didn't think we'd even finish, but super happy with this guy. Everybody who helped on this car, my dad who really wrenched hard, and my girlfriend for getting us out here.
Solid job, Wade Thorne. Moving over here, Cole Hardy. Cole, you made Ohsweken your home. You had some terrible luck, but this is a good showing for you on live TV.
Yeah, it was really good being up front. We qualified 4th in the time trials, and yeah, we had all those cautions. We thought we would have had her tonight, but you know what? I'm happy to be up here with these guys finally, and yeah, it's been great. I can't thank my fiance for all her help, all my friends in the back, all my sponsors, the track. It's improved like so much, and yeah, thank you guys.
There you have. How about a hand for your top 3? Dusty DeBoer, Wade Thorne, and Cole Hardy get it done here tonight.
Really good to see Cole Hardy down in victory lane here tonight with a top 3 finish.
Happy birthday to my dad. It's his birthday tomorrow.
Dusty wants to say happy birthday to his dad.
Happy birthday, Dusty's dad. But as we're continuing on, Cole Hardy, just good to see him on the pad here tonight down to Mr. Transmission victory lane with the bad luck that he's had this year. Good to see him have a smile here in 2019. We'll be back with a late model feature up next here on All North Racing, powered by Pinty's. All North Racing is brought to you by Pinty's Delicious Foods, making great food fun. Production support provided by Enrium Dynamics. Broadband services provided by Indicative Solutions. Back live at Ohsweken Speedway with All North Racing, powered by Pinty's, ready for the late model feature event.
Here's how they're going to line up, Greg. Starting on the pole in the number 55 is Brad Rayner. On the outside of row number 1, the 1A is Brad Othger. Row 2 on the inside, the 98 is Craig Graham. Alongside him in the number 66 is Tyler Lozon. The RH21 is Greg Haskell, and on the outside of the third row in the 311, it's Sam Panaccio. Driving the number 38, it's Jake Hooker, and on the outside of him in the 69 is Rob Pitts. The 11B is Brad Bloomfield, the 57 is Charlie Sandercock. The 82 is Ken Winfield, the 0 is John Pinsino. The 19J is Rob Lettingham, the 05 is Mike Lewis. The 00D is Jimmy Dale, number 12 is Kyle Sopaz. The 911 is Jay Liverance, the 4 is CJ Field, the 94 is Jason Haskell. The 3M is Matt Sorrell. 44 is Brad Simpson, the 27Z is Stan Zankin, the 38D is Doris Lajeunesse, and the 7 is Brent Colby.
Coming down to complete the first lap here in this late model feature event with Brad Rayner out in front and Kyle Lozon on the outside line. Remember him from qualifying earlier on. That car was wicked loose. It still is, but it makes it super fast for him here on this 3/8 mile clay oval.
Lozon up on the outside, but boy, oh boy, not enough racetrack for him to work with there. Brad Rayner continuing to lead the way with Sam Panaccio working his way up there. This is a 4-car battle at the front of the field because Craig Graham is right there in the mix as well.
And right up into the top 6 now, Charlie Sandercock. Now Kyle Lozon goes right around in front of the top cars. The caution flag will fly, and somehow no one hit the 66.
That is hard to believe. Tyler Lozon has been on the edge of control all night long. And he just went over the edge a little bit. That is a pretty race car. We're having a good look at that car. The fact that it's still got all of the panels straight on as we look at a replay down into 3 and hard on the throttle. You could see he was expecting that car to hook up and just power through 3 and 4, and the back end just came around on him.
2 laps in, and the big loser on that exchange was Charlie Sandercock. He started back in the 10th position, but just before that caution flag came out, he made a huge move down to 1 and 2 around the outside line and passed 2 or 3 cars, got himself up there into the 6th spot, and now because they have to go back to the previous lap, he's going to be bumped back a little bit here behind Jake Hooker and Rob Pitts.
Again, we talked about Rob Pitts scoring a big win here last August. It was a different type of racetrack. You know, we've had some of the drivers talk about it in Victory Lane, how heavy the track is because of the rain that's come down. There's just a lot of grip in this clay. So it lends itself to cars with big horsepower.
Two on the board, 18 to go here for the late models in their feature event. Here in the Northern Summer Nationals, night number 1, brought to you by Burger Barn, Aero Express, Nitro 54 Variety, and Bradshaw Brothers Fuels. Brad Rayner will set the pace out in front over Craig Graham and Sam Panaccio as Kyle McKenzie gets ready to throw the green flag, and we are back on it.
Rayner all the way to the bottom of the racetrack, which is not normally where we see a leader restart here at Ohsweken, but as heavy as it is, you want to take the shortest way around, but still Sam Panaccio in the 311 swing to the outside, and he takes the lead into turn 3.
Tell you what, there's a show going on at the back. Of the back is Kyle Lozon. It was just cause of that caution is flying by cars around the back of the pack. But meanwhile, at the front, it's Panaccio distancing himself from Graham. And then Greg Haskell shoots by a 3-wide battle past Pitts into the 3rd spot. Now works to the outside of Graham in 3 and 4.
Well, Greg Haskell was dominant in winning his heat race earlier on tonight. And I believe if he can get some open racetrack, we're going to see something pretty impressive out of Haskell. But Sam Panaccio able to keep him behind for now.
Down in corner number 4, off they work. Sam Panaccio leads another lap with 15 to go here in the feature for the late model vision. Craig Graham had a very solid run in 2nd. Then you've got Greg Haskell running in 3rd. Charlie Sandercock has worked his way into the top 5. He's running 4th. Brad Rayner, who started as the leader on that last restart, has dropped back to 5th, but Charlie Sandercock had problems down in 3. He comes to a screeching slow pace down on the front stretch and we are still under the green for the moment.
Tyler Lozon just went around the outside of Kenny Winfield, and I think he startled the driver of the number 82, who had, I don't think he knew there was going to have someone coming to the outside, because you could see the car lurch on the front straightaway out of the way.
Tyler Lozon has been definitely the man to watch tonight. The most exciting car out on the track, that 66. That started in the qualifying heats earlier. He continues to march his way through the field. At the front, though, it's Panaccio and Graham now with a caution flight coming out for Charlie Sandercock, who has come to almost a complete stop at the entryway to the pits, and that is an unsafe spot for him to be. So unfortunately, he had to throw the caution flag there to get Charlie into the pit area just as things were heating up for Craig Graham.
And I don't think that was Sandercock trying to draw a yellow. I think that was just a matter of that's where momentum brought that car to a stop. And he'll get pushed back into the pits, and we'll reset this field. But what a battle we've seen here from front to back in this late model feature event.
Bad break for Charlie Sandercock, who was running fourth at the moment that the car, he entered corner number 4, and you could just see all of a sudden it had no power left, and he coasted around as best he could. But I ended up to the entry of pit lane. And you talk about the battle up in front, Sam Panaccio and Craig Graham. How about this run for Craig Graham? Relatively new to the dirt game, and he's right up there. I don't think he was maybe one of the front runners that we were expecting to be the winner tonight or challenging for the lead, but he's certainly showing that he's got the same talent on dirt that he has on asphalt as well.
Well, the way this night went, I was expecting Greg Haskell to just get to the front and drive away. I mean, he was so fast in his heat, and even in the first couple laps of the feature event, it looked like once he was able to get things sorted out and maybe things spread out a little bit, he'd just pick his way to the front and drive off. But that's not been the case, Greg.
No, Panaccio and Graham proving to have plenty of horsepower here tonight, as we should see the white flag being displayed this time around. Yes, we will, with Panaccio, Graham, Haskell, Rayner, and Pitts right now, your top 5.
Rob Pitts in the 69, the next row back on the inside. Rob Lettingham in the 19. There's a couple of drivers that have done battle here over the years. Then Kyle Sopaz in the 12. Started fairly deep in the field at Sopaz, so he's been moving in the right direction since this race began.
Back to the green flag with Panaccio, Graham, and Haskell. Cars fanning out off the 4th corner, back under the green flag. 8 laps complete, 12 to go.
Panaccio with a good start, but Craig Graham to the inside. They're going to drag race down the back straightaway for the lead.
Graham back in the bottom, just like he was before the yellow flag came out. It looks like we may have to have another one, as Brent Colby is slow here on the front stretch.
Everybody able to avoid Colby and roll out of the throttle. Precarious position for Colby in the 7. Looks like we'll need a push truck once again, and there's one on the way. Actually, there's 3 on the way.
Colby gets the car fired now. Made his way into this race through the B main tonight.
White flag is out. Race director Doug Leonard says we're coming to green next time. You can see the push vehicles all back on the warm-up track off of turn number 3. The sprint cars are up next, our final feature of the night. But we've still got a great one to settle here with the late model Sam Panaccio leading the way over Craig Graham and Greg Haskell.
Kyle McKenzie looks them over, ready to get them back under power and watch them fan out, see if they do it like they did last time. Kyle Sopaz tried it, went a little bit too early. We'll see if that costs him. No, he'll tuck back into line, and we are back up to full song.
Problems in turn 4. We got a couple together. I believe that's Jay Liverance in the 911. In fact, there's 3. Is that 2 cars or 3 cars? Yeah, 3. Ken Winfield in the 82. In the 44, is that Brad Simpson?
Yep.
Well, guys, down here on the scene, you got some damage to the right rear of the Winfield 82. The Leverance car appears to be able to pull away with just a bit of body damage on the left side. The Winfield has the right rear pushed in, but the Simpson and Winfield cars are still stuck together here. It'll take a second to get them apart, guys, but I don't see any major damage.
Well, they wouldn't have been really up to speed just yet. That would have been a chain reaction deal as they were just coming to the green flag. Hand signals being given from the safety crew to these drivers to let them know what's behind them or whether it's clear back there.
See that restart there. Kyle Sopaz tried to judge when the green flag was going to come out, and he misjudged it, but thankfully for him, didn't lose any spots on that exchange.
It was a nice recovery. See, he goes to the outside, and whoop, I can't be up there. And the car behind him, and who was that, didn't quite fill the gap, kind of politely let him back into that gap.
It was Jake Hooker back there. Well, all cars back under power, pointed in the right direction down in corner number 4. And we'll tag on here to the tail of the field.
Kenny Winfield with some damage to the right rear quarter of that 82 machine. Shouldn't cost him any speed. Makes it a little harder to read the sponsor on that quarter panel, but once the race is over, they can pound that back out flat. We can hear Doug Leonard in the next room. He is the race director explaining over the one-way radio, so all these drivers can hear his instructions. He's basically saying, look, we didn't even complete a lap. Get back in the same order you were in for the last restart. We're going to do this again.
Field creeps down into corner number 3 as we get ready to bring them back to full song. Sam Panaccio up there with Craig Graham and Greg Haskell. Once again, Kyle Sopaz looks to that outside line and tries to get a run on Rob Pitts right in front of him.
The other driver up on the outside looking for racing room is Tyler Lazan in that 66, and he gets his momentum squashed as he just about gets in the back end to Rob Lettingham in the 19. Out in front, Panaccio continues to lead the way.
Graham in that second spot. Haskell right behind him. Brad Rayner having a good run up in the top 5 as well. Rob Pitts works to his outside as they go through corner 2. Rayner has a much better corner, and now Pitts will feel some pressure from Mike Lewis down in corner 3.
Down across the start-finish line, watching Lozon completely sideways in turn 4 as the field reaches the halfway point. The top 3 have opened a bit of a gap over Rob Pitts back in that 4th position. Is that Sopaz with a big run to the outside? Sopaz into the top 5 in that number 12.
Craig Graham beginning to close the gap between first and second, 0.7 of a second. The difference from leader Panaccio back to Craig Graham. Then you've got Greg Haskell third, side by side for 4th. Down the backstretch, it's Pitts and Sopaz.
Rob Pitts, I think, is getting through 1 and 2 a little better than he is 3 and 4, although he's having a good run there in 3 and 4. Not so much. There goes Sopaz opening up an advantage as, wow, they're 3 wide down the front stretch.
Down the backstretch goes Panaccio. He's only got a 1-car advantage. Now that closes. Here comes Craig Graham pedaling well on the bottom, trying to reel in the leader. Last time it was a 0.5 second. This time he cuts it down to 0.4 of a second.
And that was just a matter of how he got off of turn 4. He is right there with the race leader, Panaccio, down into 3. He'll head to the outside. Craig Graham running the middle of the track, then he'll drop to the bottom coming off the corner. Drag race to the line is Panaccio by a nose.
Down they go into corner number 1 with lap traffic right in front. Brent Colby is right there in front of the leaders, and Craig Graham's going to use that car as a pick as he goes down to the bottom side, but Panaccio makes his way through, threads the needle. Graham says, how do you do? Gets off of corner 4 through the lap cars, and Greg Haskell won't, and now he will spin on the exit of corner 4. The caution flag will come out.
Greg Haskell tried to make a similar move to what Craig Graham did. He just didn't do it as well. That was amazing what Craig Graham did with lap traffic. And sure, there was contact, but it wasn't that ugly kind of contact. It was just a rub and then carry on. What a move. What racing at the front of this field.
And Craig Graham got a little how do you do by the car he was lapping.
That was the 94 of Jason Haskell.
So he did not appreciate the pass by Craig Graham.
Hey, when you're racing for the win on live TV, sometimes you got to think outside the box and use people up a little bit, Greg.
All North Racing is brought to you by Case IH, a global leader in agriculture and farm equipment. Racetime Radio, we get you closer. Sunday night, 6:45 p.m. Eastern on racetimeradio.com and SiriusXM at 9 p.m. Eastern on Channel 167. Tyler Lozon has worked his way back inside the top 10. And if anything, even if he doesn't make the top 3, man, he's been entertaining to watch here tonight.
He absolutely has as he pokes his nose to the outside of Rob Lettingham. That's not going to work. Back under green, the field down in 1 and 2. Panaccio running a higher line. That allows Craig Graham on the inside. Kyle Sopas. Whoa, one on its roof in 1 and 2.
CJ Field upside down in corner number 2. That will bring us under the red flag. Brad Simpson also up there with Craig Haskell. And it's CJ Field upside down, the safety crew on the scene.
It was an unusual flip, too. I don't think you're going to see that there's a lot of damage to that 4-car.
All North Racing is brought to you by Pinty's Delicious Foods, making great food fun. Mr. Transmission, Canada's transmission and technology experts.
Take Mr. You're a friend of mine.
Back live at Ohsweken Speedway and All North Racing, powered by Pinty's on MAV TV Canada. My name is Greg Kelman. With me, Adam Ross and Clinton Jeffrey down trackside as we are ready to get back to racing action with 5 laps left to go in the late model feature event here on night number 1 of the Northern Summer Nationals.
It's been a great battle at the front. Some of these mishaps, like a lot of the problems are happening deeper in the field, but the action at the front has been intense. We're going to have another great restart here with Sam Panaccio out in front in the 311. Craig Graham in the 98. Kyle Sopas in the 12. Rob Pitts in the 69. Mike Lewis in the 05. How about Stan Zankin in the 27Z running in the 6th spot? He was on fire earlier tonight. Literally, Greg, on fire.
That's an impressive rally.
Coming to the white flag from Kyle McKenzie. One more pace lap. We'll try to get this one finished. 5 laps remain in this late model feature event.
Talking about some possible debris down in corner 2. White flag will come out regardless. Safety crew will try and get to that debris. Oh, I think it's up on the, yep, outside of corner 1 there. A bar or something laying up there.
I love this bar.
Oh, maybe not.
That's a lot of pieces.
Side skirt or something.
Rub rail.
Rub rail?
Maybe kind of.
I guarantee there are still pieces of Tim Newell's front bumper down there. All right, white flag is back out. 5 laps to go. Sam Panaccio out in front. Craig Graham has been giving him all he can handle so far here tonight. Now Kyle Sopas up there in that 3rd position. What does K-Rex have for the top 2?
Where did that nickname come from?
I don't know. I know Adam Buchanan used it in the Go Nuclear late model series days, and
it's pretty cool.
We just, as announcers, we just adopt those that have been given by other announcers.
But if the K stands for Kyle, in racing, Rex just stands for Rex. And Rex are accidents, crashes.
This is REX, as in like a Tyrannosaurus Rex.
With the arms that short, you couldn't possibly drive a race car. We have to talk to this announcer who
you
gave that
wouldn't be able
nickname.
to eat with arms that short. That'd be fun to watch.
I'd find a way.
Green flag back up. And here comes Kyle Sopas on the outside. As they work down the backstretch, give Kyle Sopas the 2nd spot.
And don't look now, but Tyler Lozon is flying on the outside.
Yeah, he has done a lot of work tonight to get back to where he is. Oh, gets down into the 05 of Mike Lewis. I don't know how they didn't wreck down in one.
They tried a couple of times.
Here they come off of corner number 4. Sam Panaccio out in front over Kyle Sopaz. Craig Graham there in position number 3. Tyler Lowe's on the drive of the night. He's had to come from the back after an early spin. He's up to 4th. I don't think he's done yet. 2 laps left to go.
It looks like he's got the energy to make things happen out there as he runs in the 4th spot. But how about Kyle Sopaz looks into the outside of Panaccio for the lead off of turn number 2.
Here they go down the back stretch. He tucks back in line now. Which lane will he pick in corner number 3? Stays up on the top shelf with Panaccio down on the bottom. White flag is out. Sopaz rockets around the outside. What a pass.
Almost like he was waiting for this last lap to make his move on the outside. Panaccio back to the bottom to challenge back for the lead.
Door to door down in corner number 3. Can Kyle Sopaz do it again? Off of corner 4 they come. He rides the outside and will pick up the win. Kyle Sopaz beats Sam Panaccio at the line over Tyler Lazan. What a finish in that one. He tried it on the white flag lap. It worked, and he made it work a second time.
What a move it was. And Panaccio didn't give up. He battled back on the inside.
I'll tell you what, those 3 deserve to be down in Mr. Transmission Victory Lane here tonight. What a show they put on up front. Tip of the hat to Craig Graham as well in that 98 car, who comes home in 4th. He's up there headed to the pit area, but really excellent outing tonight for Craig Graham as well, who comes home 4th. And Rob Pitts completes the top 5. Rob Lettingham, Mike Lewis, Stan Zenkin, Brad Bloomfield, and Brad Rayner complete the top 10. As we get ready to go down to Mr. Transmission Victory Lane, Sam Panaccio led the majority of that race, but Kyle Sopaz figured something out in the last couple of laps and made it work. He's known as K-Rex. He's also known as the bite-sized bandit, Kyle Sopaz, down in Victory Lane. And Tyler Lazan, who probably put on the most exciting show of the night in that 66 car, comes home in 3rd. Lone Wolf Fireworks lighting up the sky, the official firework provider of Ohsweken Speedway, as we get set to send it down to Mr. Transmission Victory Lane. Clinton Jeffrey is there.
Clinton waiting for Sopaz to climb from the car. We can hear his microphone come to life. I have a feeling this is going to be quite a celebration by Kyle Sopaz. Clinton, take it away.
Well, crew down here to welcome him to Mr. Transmission Victory Lane. Come on out of there, Kyle, so we can have a word with you. He gets all the safety gear and the one-way radios off. Here he comes out of this beautiful number 12. He made a last lap pass coming out of turn 4 to take the win. How about a big Ohsweken Mr. Transmission Victory Lane welcome for your winner tonight, Kyle Sopaz. We'll get him around in front, get a word with him here as he celebrates with the crew. Kyle, you get a chance to catch your breath here on a pretty wild run there. Talk about your drive as Tony from Mr. Transmission hands you the big check and the trophy here tonight. And a big check too. I'll jump in here on this side. Kyle, what a run here tonight. Talk about that last lap pass coming at Sam at the finish.
That was a hell of a race with Sam. We've had some battles pretty good here and there, and that's going to go down the record book between him and I. He always races me clean. I race him clean. It's just the way it goes between me and Sam. Hell of a run, brother. That was fun.
Congratulations, Kyle.
Thank you.
You get to done, ladies and gentlemen. Who do you want to thank?
Gotta thank all my sponsors, Lots and Lines Traffic Markings, Limestone Limousine, Vernon Bates Guide Service, Mayhew Graphics, Ameritool, John's Equipment, I gotta have a look, KD Transmissions, Goodies Pizzeria, Gates Race Designs, Miko Construction, all my guys who do everything for me pretty well, except the final decisions, I guess. But they're a big help week in and week out in the shop and track. Cody, Mason, Chris couldn't be here. Shane, my dad, of course, he couldn't be here also. It's too bad, but I know he's watching at home. My girlfriend, my daughter, they're watching at home too. This is awesome. Thank you.
There you have it, Kyle Sopaz, your feature winner, guys. We'll get second and third lined up right back from Mr. Transmission Victory Lane.
Can't ask for much more than a finish like that between two drivers who love to race each other clean and put on a great show for us here tonight on All North Racing, powered by Pinty's. Clinton Jeffrey down with second place.
Sam, that one's got to suck. You were right there the whole time. You were running so well through those last couple of restarts, and to lose by about 3 feet at the finish. What's on your mind?
Nah, well, I was hoping I could have held on for that last 3 feet, but I mean, to come here and with the competition and finish second, I got no qualms with that. And hats off to Kyle, he ran me clean, and we gave her all we had. We just came up short.
Good job there. Move over here, Tyler Lazone. Tyler, you were probably the most exciting guy to watch here tonight, up on the outside, just power handling around. How about that reception from the fans? What do you want to say to the fans here tonight?
Hey, this is one hell of a racetrack, and I'll be back for sure.
Congrats on third. You really came back from the pack. Tough sledding there through the middle.
It was. We had a rough year. Did one race so far this year, blew up, just got the motor back, and it's got a lot of power, so we had to move up top, and we were making our way to the front. Ran out of time.
Good job, Tyler. How about a hand for our top three tonight, ladies and gentlemen? Your winner, Kyle Sopaz, Sam Panaccio, and Tyler Lazon in our late model open here on All North Racing, powered by Pinty, as part of the Northern Summer Nationals.
So the two involved in the most entertaining finish of the night, finished 1 and 2 tonight, and Tyler Lazon, the most entertaining driver on the track, comes home in third. We'll be right back with the Sprint Car A main event here on All North Racing, powered by Pinty's. All North Racing is brought to you by Lucas Oil, made in America, sold to the world. Go to InsideTrackNews.com for an exclusive subscription offer for MAV TV Canada viewers. Use promo code MAVTV.
Well, one of the big stars we got here at the Northern Summer Nationals is Rico Aber. Rico, all the way from California. Welcome to Canada. What's your thoughts?
I'm excited. We got a little rain shower here, but that'll obviously not going to stop us from racing. Obviously, we're here pretty early, and there's already great fans coming around wanting pictures and stuff, so that's pretty cool.
Have you had a chance to look at the track, and what kind of advice have you gotten from some of the other guys here about the Speedway since you've never raced here before?
It's honestly a lot smaller than I pictured it, just by seeing online and Google Maps and stuff and some races on YouTube, but it looks really racy. So in all the races I've seen here online, it's nice and wide and 3 wide racing. So I'm excited. I haven't really asked around much. I just know off of 2 it gets really slick on the top, so I think that's where the bottom comes in when it gets all the way around there, and just have to pay attention to little things like that.
All right, Rico, good luck here tonight.
Thank you.
Rico Aber, one of the stars up for the Northern Summer Nationals here at Ohsweken.
And we are ready for the main event. The 360 Sprint Cars staged and ready to go with their 30-lap feature event here at Ohsweken Speedway. My name again is Greg Kelman. With me is Adam Ross, and down trackside, Clinton Jeffrey. We'll be back again tomorrow night, night number 2 of the Northern Summer Nationals right here at Ohsweken Speedway. If you're in the area, please feel free to join us. We'll also be live here on MAV TV Canada. Here is your starting lineup for tonight's A main event for the Cool Kids Ice and Water Core Pack Merchandising Sprint Cars. Going from position number 1 out of Mississauga, Ontario, driving car number 17X, the highlight man, Mac DeMan. Rolling off second out of Scotland, Ontario, driving car number 47X, it is D-Dubs, Dylan Westbrook. Starting in position number 3 out of Norman, Oklahoma, car number 67X, that will be Christopher Bell. And going from 4th out of Six Nations in the 77X, the Six Nations sensation, Alex Hill. Starting in 5th from Sunbury, Pennsylvania, aboard car number 55M, that'll be Mark Smith. And going from 6th out of St. Helena, California, car number 24, Rico Abreu. Going 7th out of St. Mathieu de Beloeil, Quebec in the 28 FM, it's the Fireball, Steve Poirier. And going from position number 8 out of Brewerton, New York in the 87, it is Racing Jason Barney. Starting 9th out of Fenwick, Ontario, car number 0, that is the Red Rocket Jim Hoopinen, and his outside. Starting in 10th out of Dorchester in car number 1, it is Holly Porter. Starting in position number 11 from Brantford in car number 10, Downtown, Mitch Brown. And alongside him from Harding, Pennsylvania, the 79 machine, that'll be Jordan Thomas. Going from 13th out of Columbus, Indiana in car number 14, that is Tony Stewart. And going from 14th out of Bradford, Pennsylvania in car number 35, the Juice, Jared Zimbardi. Starting 15 from Fenwick in car number 27H, Tom Hoopin in the Fenwick Flyer. And going from 16th from Beamsville, the 88H, that'll be Josh Hansen. Starting 17th out of Prairie City, Iowa, the 0J, that is Linton Jeffrey. And starting in 18th out of Dunville in the 91, that'll be Ryan Turner. 19th starting spot will go to Port Colborne, Ontario's Jacob Dykstra in the 5JD. And alongside him in the 20th starting position from Brantford, the Little Bend 110, Jake Brown. Going from 21st out of Wantage, New Jersey, that's the 28F of Davey Franek. And starting 22nd from Alden, New York, the 49, the straight shooter, Scott Kruder. 23rd starting spot is held by Loma, New York's Denny Peebles in car number 3. And his line mate in the 24th starting spot from Thetford, Ontario, the 5D, that is Shane Ross. And back in the 13th and final row, starting at 25th out of Clay, New York, the 98, Joe Trenka. And starting 26th from Elida, Ohio, the 17M, that is Max Stambaugh. 26 cars make up this 30-lap main event here on Northern Summer Nationals night number 1. All brought to you by Burger Barn, Aero Express, Nitro 54 Variety, and Bradshaw Brothers Fuels.
It's quite the flurry of activity watching a sprint car feature event come to life, even in the pace laps. Push vehicles all over the place, crisscrossing with race cars on the racetrack. Now they'll start to take formation. I can see Clinton Jeffrey in position to give us a look of the 4-wide salute like you've never seen before. Unless you've seen it before the last time we did it.
Then you've seen it. So our stars in attendance here tonight, Christopher Bell will roll off from position number 3. He's driving for Hills Racing, and not the first time he's raced with them before, so familiar equipment for him. Rico Abreu here with his own team in the 6th starting spot, and Tony Stewart back in the 13th position. So Tony has some work to do here tonight.
Yeah, I don't think it's impossible to come through this field. You know, we look out, it's a very wide racetrack. There's lots of usable clay out there. It's just a matter of if they found a setup that can work anywhere on the racetrack, because you've got to go where the other cars are not. How about this front row? Our regular Friday night competitors, Mac DeMann in the 17X and the 47X of Dylan Westbrook.
Field given the sign to take formation and do the 4-wide salute behind the Strickland GMC Pace truck. This time they will get the signal. With Mac DeMann, Dylan Westbrook on that front row. They do battle every Friday night here, duking it out for a championship here in 2019. And now Kyle McKenzie gives the sign to split and go 4 wide. All right, ladies and gentlemen, on the back stretch, wave these drivers on. Next time by on the front stretch, need everyone up on their feet as well to get involved. Those at home, join along, wave something at the television screen and get involved here as we are going to see the most awesome sight in motorsports. Fans on your feet to wave these drivers on. 26 strong. They're 4 wide and fancy for you, the fans. These are the Cool Kids Ice and Water Core Pack Merchandising Sprint Cars.
Quite a sight indeed, Greg. And as we said, this great view being provided by Clinton Jeffrey and Sean Robertson at the back of this field. That is a lot of horsepower lined up on the front stretch here at Ohsweken Speedway.
Clinton not just riding behind the 4 wide, he was part of the final row, making it a 3 wide back there. Fans on the back stretch getting a chance to see this field as they get ready to separate and then get in line for the 30-lap main event.
They power up to the Strickland's GMC pace truck, the official pace truck of Ohsweken Speedway. Rick Scott behind the wheel of that piece of machinery, and he's going to see the white flag. The lights will go out on the truck, and he will peel off on the back straightaway, leaving the field in control of McDeman in the 17X and Dylan Westbrook in the 47X.
White flag is displayed. Next time by, we'll be going green flag racing for 30 laps. 13 rows of beautifully prepared sprint cars ready to come to life. McDeman, Dylan Westbrook on the front row. Rick Scott will bring the Strickland GM pace truck down into the infield. Kyle McKenzie with double greens in hand. Ladies and gentlemen, you came looking for a show. Well, here you go. Let's end all the anticipation as we bring to you our feature presentation.
Green is out with McDeman leading into turn number 1, but Christopher Bell takes the lead off at 2, and I think almost squeezed a man into the outside wall on the backstretch. We've got one over Josh Hansen in the 88H. Well, that'll bring out the red flag immediately. That car is twisted. Clinton Jeffrey on the scene, headed up there right away. He is the first one to greet Josh Hansen.
Another nasty flip here tonight. We've seen a few cars torn up.
I've never seen a right rear tire. It's just like someone grabbed it and tore it as though it was a piece of paper.
See all the fluids pouring out of that car. Let's see if we get a replay. Oh, yeah. Up there with
Jordan Thomas in the 79. Sorry, Greg.
Look at the height. Up in the air and then down hard on the top of the cage.
That's a hard landing for the feet, your ankles. You know, it's just not something, of all the safety equipment in these cars, there's nothing to really keep them from slapping upward.
Well, guys, I just want to let Janie know that our boy Josh is all right. He says he's good. We're going to get him out, but that was a wicked hard slam down for Josh Hansen. He is leading the Action Sprint Tour points, so probably hoping to do double duty tomorrow night. We'll see how Josh feels when he gets out of this one.
Josh, a young man, driver from Beamsville, Ontario. He's not a particularly little guy, though. You see a lot of fairly small people race sprint cars. Josh Hansen's a beefy kid, a muscular-looking kid, and Clinton Jeffrey is right there to chat with him.
Well, I already told your mom you're all right, but you better do it yourself, buddy.
Yeah, I'm all right. It's really unfortunate. You know, he just went into turn 3, and I'm pretty sure, I believe it's Jordan Thomas is his name. He really checked up, and I just couldn't check up quick enough when I ran into the side of him.
You look good, Josh. I hope you feel better, and good luck for it. Get ready for tomorrow night.
Yeah, yeah, this car's done. We'll still be out in the crate car tomorrow, but this really sucks. Yeah, oh well, but we'll be back out hopefully next a week from Friday.
How about, ladies and gentlemen, young Josh Hansen, only 17 years old, a star in the making here at the Big O.
That might have been the most honest interview we've seen in quite a long time, Greg.
That it was, and he could have taken different directions with that, but very honest by Josh Hansen and very dejected as he's right. That car is done.
This sport is a game of inches. It's a game of split-second decisions. As we're going to have a look at another replay, and as he said, he tried to stay off the 79 of Thomas, and one slight miscue, leads to just a spectacular series of flips there in 3 and 4.
So while the cleanup crew continues on their duty, we'll be back in a moment, and we'll try this restart here with one lap on the board on All North Racing, powered by Pinty's. All North Racing is brought to you by Pinty's Delicious Foods, making great food fun. Production support provided by Enrium Dynamics. Broadband services provided by Indicative Solutions.
Christopher Bell didn't waste much time when that green flag dropped, did he?
No, he was out there and gone, and I've been impressed about how smooth he is. This is the first time I've had a chance to see him live in person, and I've been just impressed by how smooth he is behind the wheel of that 67. And there was a lot of talk, everyone talking about Tony and Rico, and I kept saying, yeah, wait till we get to see Christopher Bell. They're all good. But I was excited to see Christopher race, and he is not disappointed as of yet.
I hate to agree with you, Greg, but I'm going.
One of the other big stars with us is obviously Christopher Bell. Christopher, fresh off your win in the Xfinity Series on NASCAR. So cool that you could pick up that win right before you come here. What's your day been so far like here at the Northern Summer Nationals?
Well, it's been a lot of fun. It's really cool to see the atmosphere here at Ohsweken, all the fans coming out. There's a bunch of people here already, and we haven't even started racing. So it's a really cool deal. I've never run any sprint car races or dirt races here in Canada, so I'm excited to see what it's all about.
Now, you've got a lot of experience helping you out here. The crew you're with is one of the best we've got here at Ohsweken. What kind of advice are they giving you about the Big O?
Well, Daryl Turford, he's the crew chief on this deal, and he's won a lot of races here. He's won a lot of big races here. So I have a feeling he's going to have the car pretty good for me, and it's just a matter of me picking up on it.
All right, we'll follow Christopher's progress here tonight and tomorrow night as we've got the doubleheader kicking off at the Northern Summer Nationals here at Ohsweken.
Field pushed off and back underway, and we will be just a few moments here getting the cars back into their starting lineup. And the beautiful thing here at Ohsweken Speedway, Adam, is all the push trucks and the way they orchestrate how things work here. They've got it all down to a T. And in this region, this is the track for sprint car racing, in Canada at least. And a lot of the other tracks that have the sprint cars visit a few times a year don't get the privilege of having so many great push trucks out there and such a crew to get these cars fired back up. And we definitely have the best of the best here at Ohsweken Speedway.
Yeah, it's definitely a combined effort. Clinton, Jeffrey, what do you got?
A couple things going on. Trenka has been pushed back in the 98. His car is ready to go. We're waiting right now on Jordan Thomas in the 79, who had just got towed to the pit area, and they're working on his car now, so he is in the midst of his 2-minute work time right now, and they'll be ready to go back to green.
So what Clinton Jeffrey just explained, when there is an accident on the racetrack, drivers have 2 minutes in the work area. So once they get the race car back to the work area in the pits, they're given a grace period of 2 minutes to try to get the car back together in one piece to where they can present back to the racetrack and be pushed off to rejoin the field. So Joe Trenka, his car was sent back a little bit quicker than Jordan Thomas in the 79, but still plenty of time for them to do what they needed to do, because Jordan Thomas has been pushed back off and he will rejoin this field.
Field taking shape, and McDeman, Dylan Westbrook back there up at the front, and 0 laps complete. They were not able to get that entire first lap in, so we are going with a complete restart with McDeman and Dylan Westbrook. And Adam, for those that aren't here every Friday night, we get to watch these two duke it out with Corey Turner, Jim Hoopinen, the Brown brothers every Friday night. These two have been two of the most exciting to watch for sure, and McDeman, who's relatively new to the dirt racing game.
Well, guys, just want to clear up one thing. Jordan Thomas came out of the pit area, felt like he should get his spot back, and now he's going to stop in turn 4, and that will not win him any favors with Doug Leonard. We did go green. You only get 1 push off you're allowed. He had to be pushed off, and he had to go to the pit, so the 79 will be at the back for this one. And Doug Leonard, I'm sure, going to give him some trouble for this one.
Usually we can hear Doug Leonard yelling from the next room when he's upset about something. We don't hear that. We don't hear that volume in this situation, Greg, but certainly this is a debate that Doug Leonard is going to win. as Jordan Thomas going to get pushed off once again there from turn number 4. And to go back to what you were saying, Dylan Westbrook in the 47X, Mac DeMann in the 17X, 2 different ways to accomplish great success. Dylan Westbrook is so aggressive but so smooth. Mac DeMann is so aggressive and still learning how to be as smooth as Dylan Westbrook, but he has absolutely no fear.
Yeah, no, that's the thing about these 2 drivers is they definitely will hang it out on the edge, and on nights where maybe there's a choppy spot that's maybe the faster way around, they're not afraid to use it.
Absolutely true, and we are headed back to green at a snail's pace. Mac DeMann on the inside, Dylan Westbrook on the outside, green flags in the air, we're back underway.
And troubles for Ryan Turner as his car does not come up under power, and he will creep slowly down into corner number 1 as Holly Porter also had issues. Jordan Thomas will go to the pit area, and the caution will have to fly as Ryan Turner will not be able to make it to the pit area.
This has been a tough one to get rolling. But thankfully, nobody else was collected. Greg Callan, I'm not very good at reading lips. What was that you just said?
Oh, they can only take 7 minutes sometimes. The minute you said
I
that,
was
we
asked
were
the
doomed.
question, how long will this feature take? It could be 7 minutes. It could be an hour. I didn't say it'll be 7 minutes because that would have led to this.
I look for any chance to blame you. But Ryan Turner, bad feeling when everyone else is up to full song and you've got no throttle. And he gets the push into the pit area.
Could you tell what was wrong with the car, guys? It looked to me, but I'm all the way at the other end, like there was something wrong in the front end of the car. Almost like a left front problem or not, something like that. Did you guys catch what was wrong with the car?
No, it didn't seem to be driving poorly or leaning one way or the other. I'm really not sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure what was up there. It definitely looked like it had a left wheel wobbling a little bit on that left side, but we'll see what happens here if they can make it back out of the work area.
So again, 2 minutes to work over there for Ryan Turner. And a chance to get back out on the track. Still 0 laps into the books here in this 30-lap main event.
That last restart, Christopher Bell did not get the launch that he did the first time. Mac DeMann was able to lead the way with Dylan Westbrook in second. So it's amazing how quickly these drivers learn and adjust. I still thought that Dylan Westbrook was leaving Mac DeMann with quite a bit of room. DeMann fires first as the pole sitter, but he was really getting a good launch on Westbrook, almost to the point where Christopher Bell was getting a better run from third than Westbrook could from second.
Well, so we've got all the Miles Hills cars in the top 4 right now. I want to send out a shout to Alex Hill, who was our Top Gun Award winner in the Ackland Insurance $100 bonus. She picked that up today by being the top runner in passing points. So congratulations to Alex Hill in the 77X, our Ackland Insurance Top Gun Award winner tonight.
One minute remaining in the work time for Ryan Turner and that Kingpin Farms number 91. Tough night for the Turner family. Corey Turner with that spectacular crash down in turn 3. Now Ryan Turner, much less spectacular the problem he had on that restart, Greg, but equally as frustrating, I'm sure.
Minute and a half is still the time left here.
I think that's how much time he's used.
Oh, sorry. I was going to say, we said 2 minutes a minute and a half ago.
Crazy how that works. Clinton, what do you got?
Well, we got a report that the 91 was headed our way, but then we just heard Doug Leonard say, lights out, coming this time, so we'll have to follow that one up.
I could see something moving down there in turn 3, but there's no race car poking out. Coming to green this time, Mac DeMann once again on the inside in that 17X. Dylan Westbrook up high in the 47X.
Looking to the green. Let's see if third time is the charm. Dylan Westbrook rockets around the outside. He'll shoot by McDeman into the top spot.
Deep in the field there, 2 wide, 3 wide, everyone looking for racetrack, but Dylan Westbrook going to lead lap number 1.
Wow, Jim Hoopinen got a big wheel stand down in corner number 4 as the side panel, the top wing disintegrates for Dylan Westbrook. He's out there riding around, but the left side panel is gone.
You don't see that very often in these race cars, particularly not one prepared out of the Dylan Westbrook stable, the Hills Racing team. As McDeman goes by on the inside, he'll take the lead. Christopher Bell into second.
I don't think I'd want to be trailing Dylan Westbrook right now with that flapping around. Catch that in the mitt. As they come around through 1 and 2, McDeman leads. Christopher Bell in the second spot. Rico Abreu up in third, and Dylan Westbrook still charging hard in fourth.
And Dylan Westbrook has not lifted. Watch that race car, the crazy things it is doing. What a handful for Westbrook, but he is the man for the job.
He's lifting that left front as though he's running a big block modified, carrying the wheel because there's no downforce on that side of the car. He's still doing a nice job. Meanwhile, at the front, here comes Christopher Bell. Took a look at McDeman, couldn't get the run.
No, he had to check up coming off of turn number 2, but Christopher Bell up there pounding the cushion in that 67 machine down into turn 1.
Bell goes by McDeman. Leaves the bottom open. DeMann will shoot back down to the inside and go wheel to wheel down into 3. It's Christopher Bell in the highlight man. McDeman, who gets caught up behind Tom Hoopin in the lap car.
Christopher Bell with nowhere to go as we've got a problem up in 1 and 2. Dylan Westbrook in the 47X. How frustrated must he be right now? And that's going to be a fairly quick fix, Greg. They'll have another top wing ready back there. Steve Moulton will be able to get that on pretty quickly, but you go from a driver who was racing in the top 3 all the way to the back of the field.
He manhandled that car for a long time, and you could see the entire side panel is gone now. It carried there for a little bit. But an impressive run by Dylan Westbrook, and you don't see that very often. I don't know what caused it, if there was contact with someone else, but it exploded up in corner number 2.
And notice he's carrying Nitro 54 Variety sponsorship on that car for these races. I believe he might have got some horsepower support from Dan Nanakoke for these races. Scott Kruder in the 49K has made an impressive advance. What spot is he running? I just watched him go by, and I know he qualified deep in the field. He is up into 11th, 1 spot ahead of Tony Stewart in that 14.
Dylan Westbrook done for the night, guys. Parked it, and we found out what caused it. It was a side slap between him and his teammate, McDeman. Got together and shattered that side board.
And we've got a report of debris from our fans up near the announcer's booth here in turn 1, and I believe the crew is heading out to pick it up right now.
You talked about Scott Kruder making his way through the field. He started 22nd. And in 6 laps, he's up inside the top 12 right now. So up in the 11th position, is he now?
Yeah, scored in the 11th spot. But I see him as 10th on the racetrack. Yeah. Oh, probably because Westbrook is still scored as 7th on our scoring monitor.
Yeah, so all the positions are frozen at the time of the caution, so it takes time for the caution car to cycle through. But white flag being displayed. Next time by, we'll get back at this one with 6 laps complete, 24 still to go, with McDeman leading over Christopher Bell and Rico Abreu.
And I was going to mention that. Keep in mind, this is a 30-lap feature event, so lots can happen in that time. An extra distance race for these sprint cars. A regular Friday night show, just 20 laps.
McDeman to set the pace with Christopher Bell and Rico Abreu in tow. Here comes McDeman. He'll lead them down the front stretch into corner 1.
Demand down low, Christopher Bell up high. Bell gonna have to cross over though as Demand goes up the racetrack down the back straightaway. Oh, trouble.
Mark Smith up and over hard and another red flag out.
And that was a one-car crash, Greg. He was all by himself.
Mark Smith caught something up there in corner number 3, and the car went up and over multiple times. All North Racing is brought to you by Racetime Radio. We get you closer. Sunday night, 6:45 p.m. Eastern on racetimeradio.com and SiriusXM at 9 p.m. Eastern on channel 167.
White flag. Next time we will set them loose. We haven't said an awful lot about Jason Barney in that 87, but a top competitor, Steve Poirier, with lots of big wins here at Ohsweken Speedway. That is a power-packed top 5.
That it is. Racing Jason Barney can get it done anywhere in the Northeast, and don't count him out of this one yet. Steve Poirier, we've documented how good he is here at Ohsweken Speedway. Ready to come back to the green flag. Single file past the cone, back on the hammer, and the highlight man, Mac Demand, leads him into 1.
Demand down on the bottom, Christopher Bell up on the outside. Rico Abreu running a bit of a hybrid line, a little bit of both in the 3rd spot. There's still 1, 2, 3 in that order as they come off at turn 4.
Mac Demand will lead the lap with Christopher Bell in tow, running out line just a little bit higher. Mac Demand slid up high in corner number 2, keeps the same distance right now over 2nd place Bell. Rico Abreu, another about 4 or 5 car lengths back at 3rd.
Jim Hoopin in that Ohsweken Speedway number 0. He's looking to make his way into the top 5 and make some tracks. He'll put together one great corner, Greg, and then lose a little bit of ground. But watch for Jim Hoopin to figure things out and find a groove that car really can run well with.
He just got this ride in the Steyr 0 in the last month or so, and he has been nothing but impressive in that entire time. In fact, picked up a feature win, and he's up there trying to claw his way into the top 5.
Mac Demand still out front, kicks that car loose between 1 and 2. Just about lost the handle on that thing. That allows Christopher Bell to close in. Remember, this is a long race, 30 laps the distance. Christopher Bell about 6 car lengths behind our leader, Mac Demand.
And he closes that gap in a hurry. Around the outside of corner number 2, Christopher Bell to the top of the scoring pylon as he gets by the highlight man. Heavy into traffic now, though. Go the leaders. How will Christopher Bell play it? He goes on to the outside of Denny Peebles and Linton Jeffrey. Oh, close call up in corner 2. He gets around Peebles.
Man, oh man, Christopher Bell was committed to that high side. And I guess running up there all these laps, nobody else is really able to be smooth up on the high side and make that speed. But Christopher Bell, he's been married to that line since the start of the race. Is Rico Abreu looking for racing room to make a move on Mac Demand for 2nd.
And here he comes trying to draw up on Mac Demand for that runner-up position. But on the outside line, here comes Abreu. Here he is on the outside line, but he's got to deal with Linton Jeffrey, who is in his path, and he can't get by that 0J.
Mac Demand works up the racetrack right alongside Rico Abreu as they're trying to get around Linton Jeffrey. Abreu falls back just a little bit. Mac Demand down on the bottom, making that work. But as I say that, Rico Abreu sweeps around the outside to take that 2nd spot.
Leader now coming off of 4, approaching his teammate Alex Hill. Works around the outside of Alex Hill and the 5D machine as well, going down the backstretch.
Now Rico Abreu well around Mac Demand in the 17X for the 2nd spot, but he's got about half a dozen lap cars between himself and the race leader. Whoa, Christopher Bell off the racetrack in 1 and 2.
I don't know what went wrong with that car, but it has come to a stop, the entry of the pit lane, and what looked like might have been an easy win here for Christopher Bell has come to an end.
Man, oh man. The one thing I can think is up there where he was running, it is not particularly smooth, so could it have knocked the car out of gear?
You intended.
Getting reports of a right rear tire exploding through the middle of turns 1 and 2 on Christopher Bell. Once again, we told it's a right rear tire, so he will get 2 minutes in the work area. Now, if you've seen him high-siding around everybody, if you paid your money tonight, you're going to see it right here if they can get that 67 car back out.
Yeah, just as he pounded that car into the cushion in turn one, the right rear exploded on that race car. How it stayed on all four wheels, I have no idea, Greg.
That was a beautiful bit of driving by Christopher Bell to gather that car up.
I just want to take a moment and say thanks to all the fans for sticking in on a weathery night. I know we are later than we want to be, and want to apologize to our neighbors as well. We're doing our best to get this in. With all our amazing fans here, we had to put the show together, and I think the staff have done a great job to battle through this one. Thank you all the amazing fans for sticking out with us, and we still have 13 wild laps to go.
Well, it's still anybody's race, and if you've been watching deeper in the pack, Tony Stewart and Scott Kruder have been having a great battle for the 8th and 9th spots, which now become 7th and 8th spots, with Christopher Bell having the problems that he has had.
Mitch Brown having another solid night tonight. He's up there inside the top 5 now, holding down that 5th spot with Christopher Bell sliding out of the top 5, and Rico Abreu atop the board with McDeman 2nd, Steve Poirier 3rd, Race and Jason Barney back there in 4th. The lap car of Linton Jeffrey is in between Race and Jason Barney and the 10 of Mitch Brown. Jeffrey, though, will be... Is he going to the pit? Oh, I thought maybe they were waving him around, but it appears he is going to the pit area as well.
Did you expect Rico Abreu to be this good?
I figured he would be up here, yeah.
He and Christopher Bell, I expected it from Christopher Bell, and I know Rico Abreu is a great race car driver, but to have no laps on this racetrack and the number of quality drivers we have here with a lot of laps at Ohsweken Speedway, I am just really, really impressed with how great a job he is doing.
Again, to me, I think it comes down to seat time, and the majority of the drivers, the guys like Steve Poirier, Jason Barney, those types, they're excellent drivers, but they don't race as much as Rico does almost every night, it seems.
That's a good point as well. As here's Christopher Bell back on the racetrack.
Yeah, the crew got it done just in time, guys. Doug Leonard just called 1 to go at the line just as Bell presented his car. Made it just under the wire. He will be deep in the field, but a car to watch for sure.
As soon as he went down into corner 1, where did he go to run that car in? Right where the right rear popped last time, just to say, okay, we're back and we're good to go. Back to the green flag, Rico Abreu, and McDeman will lead the field with Steve Poirier in tow, Jason Barney, Mitch Brown, Jim Hoopin, and he's up there, and Scott Kruder's come a long ways back from the 22nd starting spot. He's up in the thick of it.
Across the stripe we go, Rico Abreu out in front, and he has pulled away immediately on McDeman in the 17.
McDeman to the outside of Steve Poirier holds down that 2nd spot. Also up into the mix is Tony Stewart as he works with Scott Kruder to the outside of him down the backstretch.
And McDeman running a groove that, especially in 1 and 2, just doesn't seem to be working anymore, going down to the bottom, and that car really kicking out. Now he's going to run a little bit higher on the racetrack. The car seems to like it through the middle of the turn.
Out in front, Rico Abreu checking out on this field. Impressive run for him with 10 laps left to go over Steve Poirier, McDeman, Jason Barney, Mitch Brown, Jim Hoopin, and working to the outside of Brown for 5th. But here comes Tony Stewart reeling in the top 5.
Yeah, Tony Stewart in that 14. Things seem to be going his way right now. He'll work to the inside of Hoopin, and a little bit of contact there through turn 4.
Christopher Bell trying to work his way through the field. He sits in the 13th position right now, working on Davey Franek. He'll look down low on him down the backstretch.
Jason Barney had a problem in the middle of 3 and 4. I thought he was going to slow on the racetrack, but he got his foot back into the throttle, able to get back up to speed. And at the front, Rico Abreu dealing with heavy lap traffic.
Leads him down into corner number 1. Denny Peebles right in front of him. A bunch of lap traffic just in front of the leader is Steve Poirier trying to close the gap. McDeman still right there behind Poirier. And how about Tony Stewart? He's up to 5th. Oh, got pinched out of a move for the 4th spot.
Jason Barney got to the line that Tony Stewart had a big head of steam in. Stewart had to check up there at the front. Rico Abreu in heavy traffic, trying to figure out a way around his people, just about loops it right in front of him.
Abreu across the stripe with 5 laps left to go. He works to the inside of Denny Peebles as Steve Poirier has closed the gap. The fireball is coming. He knows Ohsweken Speedway like the back of his hand. A 3-time Canadian Sprint Car Nationals winner looking for a Northern Summer Nationals win here tonight.
4 laps to go right now as Jake Brown slides up the track right in front of Rico Abreu. Abreu threads the needle.
Beautiful move by Rico Abreu. Now Steve Poirier will need to do the exact same thing to catch the leader. Across the stripe they go now with 3 laps left to go for Rico Abreu, Steve Poirier, and McDeman.
Steve Poirier being slowed up just a little bit by Jake Brown in that 110, getting up into the line he was running. It'll be 2 laps to go for Abreu as he works the outside of Holly Porter into turn 1.
Tony Stewart trying to close the gap on a podium finish as well. McDeman has 3rd. Tony Stewart right back there in 4th. He has a lap car between he and McDeman.
White flag flies for Rico Abreu. He's got a couple of lap cars ahead of him and half a straightaway back to Steve Poirier.
Down the back stretch he goes the final time into corner number 3. We'll work it around some lap traffic. Under the checkered flag, his first visit to Ohsweken Speedway is a checkered flag. Rico Abreu will win night number 1 of the Northern Summer Nationals. Steve Poirier 2nd, McDeman with a podium finish in 3rd. Tony Stewart comes home in 4th, and 5th at the line will be the 10 of Mitch Brown.
What a show, what a drive for Rico Abreu.
Lone Wolf Fireworks lighting up the sky, the official firework provider of the Big O. Rico Abreu, Steve Poirier, McDeman, Tony Stewart, and Mitch Brown, your top 5. Jason Barney, Jim Hoopin, and Max Stambaugh, Scott Kruder, and Davey Franick, your top 10. Christopher Bell, 1 spot out, finishes 11th after the tire change. And he takes it down to victory lane. Rico Abreu will park it on the pad down in front. McDeman will follow suit with a very nice 3rd place finish. And we get ready to send it down in Mr. Transmission victory lane. Clinton Jeffrey will be down there with our winner, Rico Abreu.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, he's all the way from California, comes down here into Mr. Transmission victory lane. He's one of the guys you all came to see here tonight. Christopher Bell, Tony put on a show, but it was Rico to the top of the charts tonight. How about it, Ohsweken Speedway? Let Rico get his gear off. We've also got McDeman, who had a heck of a run, and Steve Poirier down here in Mr. Transmission victory lane as well. Speedway owner Glenn Steyer's in to give him a high five, and we'll get him over here as soon as we can to have a word with us here on live TV, coast to coast on All North Racing, powered by Pinty's. What a great run. He's got the helmet off now, Ohsweken. He'll bring him around in front. How about a big Ohsweken Speedway victory lane welcome for Rico Abreu. Rico, what a drive tonight. I mean, Christopher was running so well here tonight, and at the end, you just kept chipping away. Here you are, man. What does it mean to be a winner at Ohsweken Speedway?
Oh, man, it's awesome. What a great track, honestly, for kind of the weather conditions everyone was working with. And thank you, fans, for sticking it out. I know there's a bunch of you on the back stretch and the front stretch. And, man, it's awesome to get up here to Canada and race in front of such great fans. I know I've had difficulties coming last time, and I know this time I was going to make it work. So thanks, Glenn and Ohsweken Speedway and everybody a part of it for wanting me to come. I just am really appreciative of them, and enjoy getting to have these kinds of moments where you win and in front of such a great fan base too.
Rico, you told me earlier that you thought the track was a little bit bigger. It's smaller in person than you thought, but man, you were using all of it right up to that fence. Almost put it in Glenn's front yard once tonight.
Yeah, you got to use the whole track, and that's what it takes to win these races. I knew Christopher had a tire going down. I kind of let him know before that first caution, and I knew he was going to go like hell until it blew. And You get running above the cushion, and there might be some debris or something up there that could cut it or puncture it, and then it gets low and it gets hot, and then it just starts to come apart. So it was a good race. I knew he kind of set a touring pace, and I got to second. I felt like I was getting ready to just get to the halfway point before I really started pushing it, and just wanted to pick and choose how I got through traffic that early in the race, and I knew my car was good enough to be good at the end, and I just had to not make any mistakes, and I felt like my guys did a phenomenal job just making the right decisions to put us in this position.
Thanks a lot, Rico. Good luck here tomorrow. We'll get Tony in from Mr. Transmission with the big trophy. How about it for Rico Abreu, ladies and gentlemen? We'll get over here and talk to second and third now. In just a moment, guys, get ready. We'll be right back with second and third.
Rico is truly happy to be here at Ohsweken Speedway. Obviously, it helps when you get to victory lane, but he wanted to get here. He found his way down on the pad there, Adam. A great night for Rico Abreu.
It was a great drive. As we say, it's not easy to come down here, first visit to a racetrack and take the win. And Clinton Jeffries with a driver who knows all too well, because he's got a lot of wins here at Ohsweken Speedway. It's not an easy feat. Clint?
Three-time winner of the Canadian Sprint Car Nationals. You were close tonight, Steve. You needed about 5 more laps or maybe a yellow to run down Rico. Talk about your night for us.
First, I was more trying to survive with that thick cushion. Said, oh, take it easy. Remember 2 years ago, it ended bad for me here. But I was keeping with them. Then a couple of cars in front of me dropped. Said, shit, I could race at the front. I was waiting maybe for a lap car, a good opportunity. It didn't came up, but it was cool at least running at the front with Rico.
Steve, we know you're not feeling well. We appreciate you coming up to race here tonight.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Thanks for always a lot of fans supporting me here. So that's always a pleasure coming in.
Great job. Steve Poirier in second. Over here, Mac DeMan in third. Mac, you've been having a heck of a season, racing with two of the best here. You got to feel good about your program.
Yeah, I mean, it's only my second year in 360, so to be chasing Christopher, Rico, and then get passed by Steve, these guys are like guys that I've watched from the scissor lift in turn 3, so just to be up here with them is an honor, and to see Steve pass me, I went, I gotta start running the Poirier line, and we started to catch Rico, and just a blast of a race. The track was kind of racy. Cushion could have got beat down a bit, but the track did a great job for what they were given today with the weather, and I can't thank them enough for giving us a good surface.
Thanks, Mac. Good run here tonight. How about a hand for our top 3, ladies and gentlemen? Rico Abreu, Steve Poirier, and Mac DeMan. That's going to do it from Mr. Transmission Victory Lane here on All North Racing, powered by Penties. Greg and Adam, great job. We'll see you live here tomorrow night.
Thank you very much, Clinton. I'll tell you what, Mac DeMan, I think if he keeps this up, there's going to be some youngster down in Victory Lane someday that's going to say, I can't believe I just got passed by Mac DeMan.
Greg, you're absolutely right. What a great job Mac DeMan did, and that is a powerful podium down there. Rico Abreu, Steve Poirier, and Mac DeMan. You're right. That's quite a statement.
So that will wrap things up here on night number 1 for the Northern Summer Nationals at Ohsweken Speedway. On behalf of the entire Steyrs family, all the staff and officials, and on behalf of my co-announcers tonight, Clinton Jeffrey and Adam Ross, my name is Greg Kellman saying thank you for joining us here on All North Racing, powered by Penties on MAV TV Canada.
Welcome to night 2 of the Northern Summer Nationals at Ohsweken Speedway. Tonight, once again, we have the 360 cubic inch dirt sprint cars, freight engine sprint cars, Thunder Stocks, and Race of Champions dirt sportsmen. And if it's anything like the action we saw last night, you're going to be in for a great show. I'm Adam Ross. Joining me is Greg Calnan. And Greg, night 2 of this event should be fantastic.
Oh, it should. We had plenty of cars last night. We expect the same again tonight, even though we have 3 different divisions in the house. And the track conditions should be different. Last night we had a lot of moisture, a lot of rain in that track, and made it fast and made it chunky. But tonight I think we're going to see some dry slick, so drivers are going to have to pedal the cars a little bit more than they did last night.
With the rain we had in the area yesterday, it made for a heavy racetrack, which meant the drivers could put the hammer down and try to drive through it. They didn't all manage to do that. We destroyed some race cars last night, and the action was intense. We're going to see more of that tonight, and one of the invaders brought in, we've got Tony Stewart, we've got Christopher Bell, and we've got Rico Abreu, and it was Abreu who took the win last night in convincing fashion.
Yeah, he was the star last night on All North Racing, powered by Pinty's. Great run by Rico Abreu, but I think it was Christopher Bell that maybe had the race won until that right rear went away on his car. I think he'll be back for redemption here tonight.
Enjoy tonight's show. It's about to get exciting on MAV TV Canada.
All North Racing is brought to you by Pinty's Delicious Foods, making great food fun. Mr. Transmission, Canada's transmission and technology experts.
Take Mr. You're a friend of mine.
It's great to be back at one of my favorite dirt tracks.
Do you just say that everywhere you go? Do you really mean it?
No, you can ask a lot of people in the States. This is just one place that I think when you win your first World of Outlaws race at a certain track, that's probably going to be one of your favorite racetracks all time. So I'm glad to finally be back here again.
You know, Tony, I was really honored after the drivers' meeting. You came up and pulled me aside and said, Glenn and the team and everything, just do it right. Maybe let some of the fans know who are here every week your comments on what your real thoughts are about what you see from us from afar.
Well, I got to know Glenn a long time ago, and the thing about Glenn, he's passionate about everything he does, and whatever he does it 100%. So, you guys just think outside the box, which is fun. That's what we like to see when we go racing. Is there's a lot of promoters that just host races, and then there's guys like you guys that host events, and that's what this sport needs. So, it's a great venue. I'm jealous of Glenn because my house isn't anywhere near my racetrack. I'm 3 hours from my racetrack. He gets to walk about 300 feet and he's at his racetrack. But that's what's fun about coming back here. It's just, from the time we got to the pit shack and saw the ladies in the pit shack, that's they treat you like your family. Like I said, we haven't been here for 7 years, and it was, the feeling was like we hadn't been here for a month. So that's what makes it special.
They were trying to get close to you, and you just wanted to rub up Glenn's dog, Blue, who was a cutie pie. So how about it, fans? How cool is to have Tony Stewart here with us tonight again? Tony, amazing. I know a lot of these fans, as I'm going around the campground, have told me they are getting ready for next week at Eldora. Of course, Kings Royal last week, the big dirt derby coming up for NASCAR. You told me you get a lot more gray, kind of like me, the weeks leading up to this. What's your thoughts leading up to next week?
Well, I'm excited that we got a weekend off in between. Normally we have the Kings Royal that finishes on Saturday, and on Monday the NASCAR people are starting to roll in to start on Tuesday. So it's nice that we have a week break in between, and everybody can catch their breath. I mean, we started running Wednesday last week at Eldora, so 4 straight nights, and paid Brad Sweet $175,000 for winning on Saturday nights. That was pretty cool, and we got a weekend off, and then we'll get ready for the trucks. So I think we just keep kind of refining what we do there. And last year it was kind of fun because less was more last year when it came to the track prep. So hopefully we can get it right again this year.
Now, you gave us heck after the hot laps for what was going on back there. Are you happy with what you see now?
Yeah, and it's fun because Glenn came down and he was telling us what he was aiming for, and the fun part was exactly, he knew exactly what the heat races were going to be like, and it were cars on the bottom, cars on the top, and they were running the same speed. So it's that's home field advantage when you got the owner knows exactly what the track's going to do like that, and when he can make it racy like that with 2 lines. So it's got slick in the middle, and there's a good bottom, and there's a good top. So can't ask for anything more than that.
Thanks so much, Tony. Like I tell all our friends, make sure you talk to us for the right reasons, because you're here, not over there in a pile.
Yeah, exactly. So hopefully we can stay down here and save us a spot after 30 more laps, I hope.
How about it, folks? Tony Stewart, make some noise. Thank you, Tony, so much. We'll pull in Christopher Bell now. It's a revolving door. Christopher, we haven't got to talk to you too much. How about a hand for one of the most dynamic young racers in the world right now, Christopher Bell? Christopher, welcome to Ohsweken. Are you having a good time?
Man, it's been a ton of fun here racing. This is my first time to this racetrack, but I've seen a lot of videos here. I think I actually watched Smoke win his first outlaw race here. So I love this place. It was a lot of fun last night. It had a lot of character to it. You guys saw that big old cushion that we had. So tonight is a totally different racing surface, and I think we're going to put on a great show.
Let's talk about your drive last night. That car was hauling the mail. What went wrong? What caused that right rear to blow up on you?
Yeah, I think my right rear just got a little bit too deflated there under the red flag, and whenever I took back off, it was low on tire pressure and just got really hot and eventually blew out.
How you feeling tonight?
I feel really good so far. Like I said, the track is almost 180 opposite of what we had yesterday, but it's going to put on a really good show. You've already seen the B features there. The heat races at the top and bottom are really equal. So as a race car driver, that's all you want is to have options, be able to go to different lines. And here at Ohsweken, we've been having that.
Well, the track is a polar opposite tonight, but you've done the exact same line both nights in a row. Talk about your line way up there around Glenn's front yard.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, man. They got a really nice bank up there, so you can carry a lot of momentum, but the bottom is really good. You can get a really good launch off of corner exits, so I'm not really sure where the place is going to be tonight in the race, but hopefully we can figure it out and put it up there for 30 laps.
Good luck, Christopher. How about it, ladies and gentlemen? Christopher Bell here at Ohsweken, one of the most dynamic young talents in the world of racing. Thank you, Christopher. Thank you, Tony. Thank you, Rico, and all the other amazing teams. Ohsweken, make some noise for all our amazing race teams here who came in tonight and last night and put on some crazy racing. That's all from Victory Lane, guys. Back to you as we are ready to go with the Thunderstocks.
It is time to go Thunderstock Racing. Feature event going to be 20 laps. Here is how they're going to line up. On the pole out of Simcoe, Ontario, in the number 4, it's Aaron Rowitsky. Outside of row number 1 from Caister Center, the 28 is Jim Lampman. Starting third from Hagersville, the 49 is Dave Bailey. And on the outside of row number 2 from Port Colborne, the 21 is Jason Fontaine. Starting fifth from Hagersville, the 23 is Trevor DeBoer. Starting sixth out of Welland, the 05 is Pete Reed. Starting seventh from Victoria, the 84 RK is Ryan Beagle. Starting eighth from Merlin, Ontario, the 96 is Steve Shaw Sr. Starting ninth out of Caister Center, the 28D is Donnie Lampman. And starting 10th from St. Catharines, the M1 is Rob Murray. Starting 11th from Guelph, Ontario, the 79 is Chris Hale. Starting 12th from Jerseyville, the 53 is Logan Schwedick. Starting 13th from Hamilton, the 43C is Clinton Nichols. Starting 14th in the 32, it's Mark Fawcett. Starting 15th from Harley, Ontario, the 37 is Rob Hoskins. Starting 16th from Ohsweken, the 24, Blake Bomberry Jr. Starting 7th out of Hamilton, the 25 is Kenny Sargent. Starting 18th from Hagersville, the 8 is Ryan Dinning. Starting 19th from Port Robinson, the 108 is Bill Bleach. Starting 20th from Thorold, the 11 is Go Fast Heeple. Starting 21st out of Ohsweken, the 38 is Frank Turkey. Starting 22nd from Caledonia, the 21X is Mark Bazine. Starting 23rd from Brantford, the 1 is Chris Dickey. Starting 24th, it's Mike Ferguson in the 6R. Starting 25th from Brantford, the 40 is Derek Liverant. Starting 26th from Fonthill, the 7X is Kevin Cokeridge. Starting 27th from York, the 14 is Johnny Lowenberg. 28th is the 41 of Adam Plazik. 29th, the 93 of Melissa Miller. 30th, the 43 of Kyle Andrus, and rounding out the field from Brantford, the 13 is Casey Huffman, and we've got Melissa Miller parked sideways in turn number 1. I believe that is going to bring out an early yellow flag. No, it is not. She gets that car going, and we will stay under green. Aaron Rowitsky leading the way, and they're going to come up on Melissa Miller in that 93 in a big old hurry. It's time to commit. Aaron Rowitsky going to the high side, Dave Bailey to the low side. Look at Ryan Beagle, as well as that 21 machine, who I believe is Jason Fontaine, showing up as Reezy George in our scoring monitor, but I believe that's racing Jason Fontaine in the 21. And who'd have thunk it? Dry, slick racetrack, and here comes Ryan Beagle in the 84. He loves these track conditions as Kyle Andrus spins around in turn number 2 and comes to a stop. Aaron Rowitsky has to really check up to avoid Andrus to the inside. Everybody else able to find a line around as we've got one smoker on the racetrack. It's Chris Dickey in the number 1. Clinton Jeffrey, what do you got?
Well, if we could ask Darren to take my mic down a little bit, we can talk, and I'll help you call this race. Jason Fontaine in the 21X, called up for the Burger Barn team. He's friends with Gord Morrow, one of the team captains over there. Gord knew Jay as a veteran here. Mark been struggling a bit with the handling on the car, so they've got Jay out to sort it out tonight. And looking pretty good behind that 21X.
He's definitely a talented wheelman with lots of experience. Of course, normally drives the 1J. Always a beautifully prepared race car, but so is this 21 machine with Burger Barn on the side of it.
Well, from Jay being, a privateer, running on his own dollar to get behind the wheel of a Burger Barn machine built by Jimmy Lowenberg is pretty wild, I'm sure, for Jay, seeing a whole new space-age cockpit that he wouldn't normally see in his own car.
Hey, Clint, I've got a couple of things I want to talk to you about now that we've got you. First off, how come you didn't come to me to talk about this grudge match that's been suggested for you and me and Greg Callan in go-karts on a Thursday night?
Not worth my time. I whipped your butt on the dirt a few years back.
A few years back. That was 20 years ago.
I'm trying to hold on to my youth.
Credit where credit is due. I did say Clinton Jeffrey has a 1-0 record in head-to-head races with me, but I don't think it's going to happen again. I want to have this match.
Okay, no offense, but do you know how much size matters in go-karts?
All the more reason when I destroy you, it's going to feel so much better, Clinton.
Any Thursday night, buddy. We're here, and the carts are ready.
All right, you heard it. Live on MAV TV Canada, Clinton has accepted the challenge. Greg Callan has already decided he wants to do it just to run third and watch the carnage and slip through for all the glory.
I wreck you so fast.
Funny, I said a similar story earlier tonight. Let's go racing. We're about to go back to green. Dave Bailey in the 49 on the inside. Ryan Beagle in the 84 on the outside.
Two of the best in the business here at Ohsweken take off down into turn number 1. Dave Bailey, the 49, has been so good, but you talked about it. Beagle is the master of going faster when it gets slick like this, and we got a log jam in turn 1 and 2.
Yeah, Ryan Dinning got turned around to that number 8. Not sure. Okay, and the yellow flag does fly as he starts to get going, which is great because I didn't get a chance to make my second point.
Go for it.
Christopher Bell is a huge ambassador for iRacing.
Yes.
Online sim racing. It is on the race car that he's driving this weekend. He works closely with the people from iRacing when they developed the dirt racing portion of the software. I said to him earlier on, I said, have you ever heard of someone going from iRacing directly into sprint car racing? And it kind of piqued his interest. So I introduced him to Alan Downey.
What a thrill for Alan that must have been, right?
Exactly. Well, we brought Alan over, got his picture with Christopher Bell. They talked a little bit, and then I talked to Christopher about our Rivals Racing League, how our vision is a 12-month-a-year racing schedule where we'd have our racing at Ohsweken Speedway, and then after our season ends, we race online and we broadcast those online the way we would a regular Friday night at Ohsweken. And his eyes just lit up saying, that is so cool. What a great concept. So I said, look, Christopher, we're going to need some help. We got to get you to nudge the people in charge. Get up here and scan Ohsweken Speedway and get it into the iRacing simulation.
Yeah, and all you fans out there, if you're on iRacing, don't hesitate to send them an email and tell them, I want to see Ohsweken as a track pack that I can purchase for iRacing so we can race year-round.
So a little bit off topic, but absolutely, you can do it from home, folks. If you have a passion for racing, it's something you should check out. You won't be disappointed. Let's go back to racing once again. 3 laps are on the board, 17 laps remain.
This is our Middleport Mechanical Thunderstock division. They put on an amazing show every week. Here we go, Bailey again with the jump, but don't count out racing Jason Fontaine on the inside on that 21X. Rolling on the bottom, but he's got Bailey and Beagle right around him.
Watching drivers just fight for the inside of the racetrack. Everybody wants to be down against the concrete. Ryan Beagle about a lane and a half off the bottom, and then there's Aaron Rewutsky, who's just fallen out of the top 5, but he seems content to run up in that outside lane in that beautiful black number 4.
As we watch Jason Fontaine try and hunt down Dave Bailey. Of course, Bailey is the multi-time track champion at all 3 of the dirt tracks here in Southern Ontario, so he has battled Fontaine many nights at Humberstone as they battle for those championships. Oh, trouble on the front straightaway. One of them got straightened out. Was that Lampman into Lampman over there?
No, Steve Shaw did a full 360 coming off of turn 4, and it looked all by himself, lost it, and I don't know if he flattened a tire or what happened. Donnie Lampman was up to speed, had nowhere to go, and he got pinched between the wall and Steve Shaw Sr., and he slapped the wall pretty hard. Looked like he was going to try to drive that car back to the pits, but I think he is realizing now that his night may have come to an early end, Clint.
Well, Adam, we're on our way over to the scene. We'll get you some pictures in just a moment.
Had a chat with both of them. They were in the pits walking their dog around. Donnie Lampman, 15 years old, and his father, Jim Lampman. Now, this is Donnie Lampman, who is pinned up in turn number 1. The son of Jim Lampman. Jim Lampman drives a Camaro. He is out on the racetrack, running about the 8th or 9th spot right now. And Jim kind of looked over and says, I'm tired of getting beat by my kid, but you could tell it was a real proud dad moment for Jim Lampman. I don't think he was tired of getting beat by his kid. He had a big grin on his face, pretty proud of Donnie Lampman, but tonight is not going the way Donnie would have liked. And Clinton, you just had a chance to look at the damage on the right side and now reaching into the car to have some words with Donnie, and I don't think it's really going to be words of encouragement. I think it might be more the, sorry, Donnie, your night's probably done.
Yeah, his night's done here, Adam. He's got a left rear flat, left front flat, right front flat, and a busted tie rod. So he is done for the evening.
A pretty impressive young man, though. If you get a chance to meet him, a firm handshake, a look in the eye, lots of positive energy out of Donnie Lampman. He also is an iRacer, so we're looking to get him into our Rivals Racing Leagues as well this offseason.
Yeah, 3 feature wins this year at the halfway point for Donnie. 1 here, 2 at Humberstone. Quite the showing for the youngster.
And all of that after never winning even a heat race prior to this season, as far as I know. He won a heat earlier this year, then won a feature, and then peeled off a couple of more wins. Winning breeds winning, that's for sure.
Donnie only 15 years old here.
And Clint, we're going to take this opportunity for a commercial break. We'll be back on the other side with more All North Racing powered by Pinty.
All North Racing is brought to you by Lucas Oil. Made in America, sold to the world. Go to InsideTrackNews.com for an exclusive subscription offer for MAV TV Canada viewers. Use promo code MAVTV.
Welcome back to Ohsweken Speedway on MAV TV Canada. We're about to go back to Green Flag Racing. First of 4 feature events on the night. 5 laps are complete, 15 laps to go. Dave Bailey leads the way in the 49, then it's Jason Fontaine in the 21. Keep your eye on that red and black number 84 of Ryan Beagle. He did fall back to the 3rd spot, but that puts him on the inside for the restart, and I think Clinton Jeffrey, that's exactly where he wants to be.
Certainly smooth and slow along the inside. The way to go. We'll see what Fontaine can do. 1 lane up off the bottom. Aaron Rawiski way up the hill here in turn 3 and 4, trying to work that outside. As he does that, Trevor DeBoer slips underneath.
Real impressive move by Trevor DeBoer. I looked up a few laps ago, and DeBoer I don't think was even in the top 10 at that point. So he's made a couple of bold moves, finds himself almost in the top 5 as Clinton Nichols goes around in 1 and 2. He's going to keep that car rolling. Well, won't have to go to a yellow flag.
Well, you've got the multi-time champ, the former Humberstone champ, Ryan Beagle, and the Maryville champ all right there under a blanket going at it, and Bailey still streaking off to turn 3, but Fontaine is keeping him honest.
Aaron Rawitzki is losing spots, but I love the drive he's having up on the outside. He's the only driver inside the top 8 or 9 cars who's really up on the outside and doing anything other than running around the bottom. It's 14 laps to go. Somebody's got to try something different at the front to get a run on Dave Bailey.
Adam, you told me many years ago here, if you want to win, you got to go where the other drivers aren't, and that's what Witzke's doing. Do you think he was listening to Glenn or getting texts from the boss?
Well, you know, Aaron Rawitzki has not had a great season with some mechanical problems and mishaps that weren't really of his doing. So some of it might just be that he's content to run a line where nobody else is running, where he doesn't have to worry about getting run into. The other thing is, if he was on the bottom, he wouldn't be making much progress anyhow.
10 laps in, 10 to go here with the Thunderstock feature. Dave Bailey out front and leading over Jason Fontaine, Ryan Beagle, Rob Murray. In the battle for 5th is Logan Schwedick and Trevor DeBoer.
If you remember one of our TV races earlier on this season, Dave Bailey got beat by Trevor DeBoer right at the end of the race, and he kind of mustered a smile and said, well, if I'm going to get beat, you know, I like racing with Trevor DeBoer. He's a buddy of mine. I think tonight he's out here for one thing only, and that's to win this race. I don't think he'll be as gracious a second place finisher tonight if something is to go wrong.
Top 3 make it past Clinton Nichols as they take it back to turn number 1. 11 on the counter, 9 to go unofficially here in the Thunderstock feature. And it is Dave Bailey streaking away at him, but they still got to be happy. They've had nothing but trouble with this 21X all year, so to have it running this well has got to have the Burger Barn team smiling.
Well, and they knew Jason Fontaine, as you said, an experienced race car driver. He'll be able to give them quality feedback, let them know what he's feeling. He's given this car a great run. Ryan Beagle showing a nose to the inside, not really forcing the issue right now, but he has asserted himself that there is a line even lower than what Jason Fontaine is running in that 21 machine.
Back onto the front chute, into one goes Dave Bailey. 6 to go for the 49. 21X of Jason Fontaine, 84 of Ryan Beagle. He has dropped a little bit back now, Adam, and given up some ground to that Burger Barn machine.
Yeah, he certainly has, but look at this. There's slow traffic running side by side. Dave Bailey having to go way down to the inside. There's not much room to squeeze in between himself and that slower car on the bottom, but he managed to make it work.
Yeah, Mike Ferguson filling in for Jeff Roloffs, who actually won that car in a draw from Mike Ferguson. Jeff and his wife just had a baby yesterday, and they tapped Michael to drive here tonight. So congrats, Jeff and family.
I was also wondering what had happened this year to Mike Ferguson, so neat opportunity for him to come out and drive a car that he's very familiar with.
Yeah, Mike just said family and work commitments got to be too much. He absolutely loves it and misses it, but having fun here tonight. But the guy having fun is our leader in the Queenston Chevrolet, 49. Dave Bailey pulling away with that Gibbs Action Sports machine. Been so dominant for the last 5 to 7 years anyways, Adam.
He's got a little bit of breathing room over Jason Fontaine, but one little bobble and Fontaine will be all over him. Plus, they've got some slower traffic just ahead, and with 2 laps to go, they are going to have to make moves around this lap traffic. This could get exciting.
Fontaine there, about 5 car lengths in the rear, trying to make a plan. Take a stab here at Bailey. If there were team orders, it might have worked there, but Bazine can't close the door on Bailey for his teammate Jason Fontaine, and Fontaine now slips by the other Burger Barn 21.
It's like seeing double down into turn 1 with 1 lap to go. Dave Bailey by about 5 car lengths pulls out of turn number 2, streaks down the back straightaway.
Double cheeseburger. Here we come out of turn 4. Dave Bailey with control of the field, comes down to it. Double checkers out. Dave Bailey wins it over Jason Fontaine with a great run. Beagle back there in the 3rd spot. Then you've got the 1 of Murray and the 53 of Logan Schwedick will round out the field.
Good clean race for the Thunderstocks. A couple of yellow flags early on, fairly innocent spins, but once they got things rolling, they really clicked off some laps, and Dave Bailey was flawless on the inside groove, and that Brewster Baker look-alike for all you Kenny Rogers fans. And really, who's not a Kenny Rogers fan? I mean, before Kenny Rogers Roasters, back when he was still on top of the world. Clint and Jeffrey going to head down to Mr. Transmission Victory Lane, have a word with Dave Bailey, Jason Fontaine, and Ryan at Beagle as Lone Wolf fireworks light up the sky over Victory Lane here at the Speedway. Sean Gibbs down there orchestrating things in Victory Lane.
Well, guys, Dave Bailey gets the helmet off. He'll work his way out here to Mr. Transmission Victory Lane on All North Racing, powered by Pinty's. Another television win, coast to coast, for Dave Bailey as he works his way out. We'll get everybody to make some noise as he comes on out of the car. How about it? A big Ohsweken Speedway, Mr. Transmission Victory Lane for Brewster Baker, Dave Bailey. Dave, what a run tonight. The track really slicked up for you guys tonight. Let's talk about your run. You obviously got to be pleased.
Yeah, normally we're terrible when it gets like this, and we've just been working so we don't look silly on these big shows, and looks like we finally got it done.
Really slick track. I don't think we've seen it this slippery all year.
No, it's nuts. It's like super hard. I'm sure that there's a lot of asphalt people here tonight watching, and it's like trying to hit a line on an asphalt track. You miss that thing by like 6 inches, 8 inches, you're screwed. So yeah, just got to be real patient and keep it on the bottom.
Safe to say your pavement experience helped out tonight.
Yeah, it has to. It was awesome.
Who do you want to thank, Dave?
First, I gotta thank Pitties for putting this on, and Mr. Transmission, Jibs Action Sports, Transport Sales and Service, Transaxle, Queenston Chev.
There you have it, guys. He grabs another one. Dave Bailey gets it done here on All North Racing, powered by Pinty's.
Another big win for Dave Bailey, no stranger to Mr. Transmission Victory Lane, multi-time champion here at the Speedway, and now Clinton Jeffrey standing by with second place.
Well, Fonz, pretty good run for you. They called you up to help get the bugs worked out of that car. Are you jacked up after that run?
Oh, definitely. I can't thank Gord and Jay enough from the Burger Barn for giving me this opportunity. This is definitely one hell of a car. Helped them with the setup over the last couple of weeks, and it's definitely coming around.
Good job, Jay. Who do you want to thank?
Definitely want to thank them, and I can't leave out everybody else that gets me here every week. Club 54 and Dan Williams and Thruway Muffler, and my family, my girlfriend, my kids.
Good to have you here, Fonz.
Thank you.
Jason Fontaine, with a good run, but so did you, Beagle. Ryan Beagle, every time it gets slick like that, so, I mean, I'd be picking on my rivals' picks for sure, man. Good run tonight. You got to be pleased to be here.
Oh, yeah, anytime you can stand here and talk to you guys like this is a good night. But I don't know what we're going to do to beat the 49, but he's good. But we'll try again next week.
Solid run. There's Ryan Beagle in third. Ladies and gentlemen, how about a hand for your top three? Dave Bailey, Jason Fontaine, and Ryan Beagle. Get it done here on All North Racing, powered by Pinty's from Ohsweken Speedway.
Action Sprinter feature event will be coming up next here on All North Racing, powered by Pinty's. All North Racing is brought to you by Pinty's Delicious Foods, making great food fun. Production support provided by Enrium Dynamics. Broadband services provided by Indicative Solutions.
Here's how they're going to line up for the Crate Sprint Car. The Strickland GMC Crate Sprint Car feature event. On the pole in the number 20 out of 6 nations is the Iceman Johnny Miller. Outside of row number 1 from St. Thomas, the 52 is Jesse Costa. Starting third from Hagersville, the 49H is Jerry Hill, and starting fourth from Ohsweken, the 28 is Jordan Hill. Starting fifth from Rockwood, the number 74 is Rob Neely. Starting sixth from Tonawanda, New York, the 7NY is Matt Farnham. Starting seventh from Vanessa, the Hurricane, Hannah Farrell behind the wheel of the number 4, and starting eighth from Binbrook, the 29 is Liam Martin. Starting ninth out of Beamsville, the 88H is Josh Hansen, and starting 10th from Beachville, the 5 is DJ Christie. Starting 11th from Burford, the 12 is Brad Heron. Starting 12th from Beamsville, the 1A is Paul Klager. Starting 13th, the Gunslinger from Caledonia, the R52 is Ryan Hunsinger. Starting 14th from Brantford, the 49L is Lucas Smith. Starting 15th from Waterloo, the 19D is Alan Downey, and starting 16th from Port Colborne, the 5D is Jacob Dykstra. Starting 17th from Waterdown, the 5C is Connor Mahoney. Starting 18th from Welland, the 3B is Blaine Barrow. Starting 19th from Ohsweken, the 9C is Brian Nanakoke, and starting on the outside of row number 10 from Salmon Arm, British Columbia, the 26 is John Verney. Starting 21st from Ancaster, the 26X is Terry Baker. Starting 22nd from Gore's Landing, the 19 is Brandon Merle. Starting 23rd from Niagara Falls, the 70 is Bailey Hurd. Starting 24th from Odenak, Quebec, the 55J is Brian Cloutier. Starting 25th from Mount Bridges, Ontario, the 45 is Nick Sheridan. And starting 26th from Kitchener, the 50LS, it's Adrian Staley. If you heard earlier on, have a look. That 19 car just in the screen right now. If you're watching on television on MAV TV Canada, that is Alan Downey. That's the driver we were talking about. It came straight from iRacing right into a sprint car behind the wheel.
And really didn't have much of a learning curve either.
Race fans, from turn number 4, get up on your feet, grab your hat, grab a program, grab whatever's nearby. Give these drivers a wave. They're going to be waving back. They're about to do battle for 20 laps. That is their A-main, the largest turnout of Action Sprint Tour cars in the history of the series. 43 cars, Greg, tonight attempted to qualify, or was it 46? When I give a big lead in like that, I really should have my facts straight, shouldn't I? Adam, what the heck are you thinking?
I like how you threw it to me and made it my problem.
46, guys, 46.
Thank you, Clinton. Knew we could count on you. Green out of 4, race fans. Johnny Miller and Jesse Costa bring them off at turn number 4. Double green flags in the air from Kyle McKenzie. We are underway.
Johnny Miller, the Iceman, leads the pack. Here comes Jesse Costa, though, working the outside line. He is going to go side by side with Jerry Hill down into corner 3.
Impressive start by Hannah Farrell, the Hurricane, in that white and red Oakwood Transport Lucas Oil sponsored machine. Matt Farnham just got around her for the 4 spots, but she got really a nice run through 1 and 2 that first time around.
Down the hill comes Jesse Costa as he's cleared 3rd and 4th, and now is trying to work the outside line on Johnny Miller. You wonder if Jesse Costa watched some of those B mains and saw how good the top side is.
You've got to think that he did, and I mean, this is such a different racing surface than these drivers are used to. Trouble up in 1 and 2. DJ Christie goes around. Rob Neely squares him up, spins him around the other direction. Alan Downey has to take some evasive action. So let's have a look at this radio shuttle number 74 of Rob Neely as he comes down the front stretch. There you see DJ Christie parked sideways in 1 and 2. Neely's car looks to be all right. I'm not sure if it still has a front bumper on it, but it did its job.
All North Racing is brought to you by Case IH, a global leader in agriculture and farm equipment. Racetime Radio, we get you closer. Sunday night, 6:45 p.m. Eastern on racetimeradio.com and SiriusXM at 9 p.m. Eastern on Channel 167.
Well, we're standing by in the pits with young Josh Hansen, 17-year-old Josh Hansen to be exact. Josh, you're doing double duty in these sprint cars. We just took a good look at your wrecked car from last night. You got to strap in tonight because you're leading the Crate Sprint Tour points with the Action Sprint Tour. How can you get back in the game?
I'm just trying to stay calm and cool, and there's 45 crate cars tonight, which is huge, and I just want to try and make the main tonight and then try and work my way up through the night, like through the main. I'm trying to stay cool, moving a little slow today, but all in all, hopefully tonight goes better.
Now, with all those cars, it's always tough. You need everything to go right. What do you got to do to make sure you get a spot in that A-main tonight?
Well, it starts with a good pill draw. I got not the greatest pill draw. Hopefully probably start mid-pack, hopefully make my way in that top 4 and make the main.
Good luck tonight, Josh. There you have it, young 17-year-old Josh Hansen doing double duty in the sprint cars. Last night, a major crash. Going to try and pick one up tonight.
White flag's out, so we are ready to get back at it. Next time around with Jesse Costa leading the way over Johnny Miller in the 2nd spot. Being told Johnny has quite the following down in Arizona and has his own chapter of the fan club down there in the great state of Arizona.
They really like the Iceman in Arizona. Go figure.
Matt Farnham right there in 3rd. Jerry Hill having a very solid night from start to finish. He's up there in 4th. And it's Hannah Farrell. They're in the 5th spot. Green flag back in the air.
Leah Martin got up over the right rear. A little bit of Brad Heron. That's a battle deep in the top 10. I think it's a battle for the 6th spot. Out in front, Jesse Costa to the outside in that 52. Here goes Matt Farnham to the inside in the 7 machine.
Oh, Lucas Smith is broken on the left front, and that car will come to a stop on the high side of 3. He got pinched into the wall, and that was just a bad lap for Lucas Smith because he had some contact down here on the front stretch as well. Now the driver of the Massage Pro number 49L will come to a stop on the high side of 3. See, he's got the steering wheel off and that left front crumpled over, and by the looks of it, the right side's not much better.
One of our drivers who's qualified for every A feature this season, there's only 3 of them now because Stephen Beckett didn't qualify for this race, did he?
Well, that's regular Friday night standings. This is an Action Sprint Tour event, so.
Come on.
Well.
Are you going to do that?
Yes.
Are these crate sprint cars?
Yes.
The same crate sprint cars we run on a Friday night with mostly the same drivers?
But this is an Action Sprint Tour event.
Are you really that thick?
Yes, I am.
Wow.
Not as thick as you, though. Oh, you were talking literal.
Yeah. Well, didn't we have this conversation earlier about getting punched metaphorically between the legs? It's not the same as getting punched between the legs. Right, Clinton Jeffrey, who's down on the scene with Lucas Smith climbing out of that 49L.
Well, he jumped out quickly to take a look at it. Lucas, you jumped out quickly to take a look at that car, but it's not fixable.
No, not tonight. I don't know what else to say, man.
You got pinched in the wall. Get with your car. We'll fill them in on what happened. Adam, what I need you guys to do if you get a chance is figure out which car pinched him into the wall. He was getting that outside run like we've seen Rico and Christopher and some of these guys do right up around the outside. When he come off a 2, he was sticking on the outside. The other car was still drifting up. He got pinched in the wall and rode all the way down the backstretch, concrete blocks.
Yeah, I didn't see who he had been racing with, to tell you the truth.
Well, it's one of those things, Adam. The guys he was racing with wasn't the one who got him because he came up on them so fast on that outside line. And I used to have talks with some of the guys who would run there. My brother, for example, I'd say, you know, you're going to get pinched off like that, and you can't be upset with the other driver because they have no idea, as you mentioned, no rear view mirrors, no idea that you're making that run, and they're running their own line, and all of a sudden you peer up beside them and jam it in between them and the wall. It can be tough sometimes.
Well, I am hearing through my spotter in the grandstands it may have been the 74 of Rob Neely. And like you say, it's hard to be upset in that situation because they don't know that you're coming. But we watched Scott Kruder early this season absolutely destroy a car in a similar situation.
74 Neely's not a bad guess, Adam. The nose wing is askew on that car. It is possibly the culprit.
Back to the green flag as Jesse Costa leads Matt Farnham into corner 1, but Farnham working the bottom side, trying to get a good launch off of 2. No, Costa rockets off the top spot.
Hannah Farrell again with a good launch through 1 and 2. She'll move up to that 3rd position. But what a battle at the front. Jesse Costa and Matt Farnham, a couple of very capable race car drivers, duking it out at the front of the field. Look at how straight Jesse Costa goes into the corner. He doesn't pitch the car in like you often see. He drives it in front end first. That's a crazy line that he's running.
Costa, your leader on lap number 5 with 15 laps left to go in this one for the Action Sprint Tour as they work it down the back stretch. Jesse Costa, Matt Farnham breaking away from 3rd place, Hannah Farrell.
Drops to the bottom in 1 and 2, and now in 3 and 4, back to the outside again. Which line's he gonna run this time? He goes back to the bottom. Really mixing things up as Jesse Costa in the 52, but it's working quite well for him.
Costa up high, right around that rim. Farnham digging deep on the bottom side as they work off of corner number 4 and across the stripe.
And he was right at the rim in 3 and 4. I mean, almost to where you run out of banking and almost certainly get sucked into the abyss off the end of 3 and 4.
Bailey Hurd pulls off the racetrack, so his night comes to an end as Jesse Costa last time in 1 and 2 went to the bottom, back up to the top in 3 and 4, so trying some different lines right now.
Laps clicking away. I would say more of this field is working the bottom of the racetrack than working the top, but there's a few of them running nice lines around the high side, but at least Jesse Costa can change things up as he approaches lap traffic. He knows he can work the bottom, he knows he can work the top, and with the amount of heavy traffic ahead of him, he's going to have a couple of options.
Coming to the cross flags momentarily as Jesse Costa crosses the stripe. 10 laps go up onto the scoreboard.
10 laps down, 10 laps remain as Jesse Costa enjoys about a 10-car length lead over Matt Farnham as they work down into 3 and 4. Costa right up the outside, Farnham around the bottom of the racetrack. Things about to get heavy in front of the race leader, Jesse Costa.
Costa back up on the top side with Farnham right there. Top 2 have broken away a good distance away from Hannah Farrell with a solid 3rd place run right now. Liam Martin, they're in position 4, and Brad Herron with a good top 5 outing for him.
You saw a bit of a rooster tail into turn number 3 off of Jesse Costa's number 52. That means he got up over the cushion, up into the loose clay. That could have been a bad scene for Costa. Now he'll drive the car in the middle of the racetrack where there's no grip as he slides up the track. Matt Farnham drives to the inside. Give Matt Farnham the lead.
Farnham in that 7 machine has the top spot, but Costa digs back on the bottom. They're wheel to wheel, and there's no racing room coming out of the corner. How will they all fit? Farnham threads the needle and puts 2 lap cars between he and Costa.
The truth of the matter is they would not all fit, and that's a big advantage to Matt Farnham as Jesse Costa's lost a lot of ground. Still plenty of laps left, 6 laps to go, but he's got to regroup. He's got to get around these lap cars and try to mount a challenge on that 7 NY.
Farnham works off a corner number 4, leading the way over Jesse Costa. 5 laps left to go, says flagman Kyle McKenzie with a big high five. Costa back there in second, and all the while, the Hurricane, Hannah Farrell's kind of closed the gap a little bit. She's not right there yet, but she's doing a nice job of that third place run.
Wow, Costa drove it down the inside, trying to get around Sheridan in the 45. Sheridan closed the door, and I mean, Sheridan wouldn't have known he was there, but tense moment for Jesse Costa in that second position.
Lap car is so tough to get around in these feature races, and Jesse Costa is going to have, I'm sure, a few choice words for those lap cars tonight. Like you said, though, they don't know he's there, but either way, I'm still sure it's frustrating for Jesse Costa.
And even a lap car is battling it. No matter what you're doing on the racetrack, you're battling for a position with somebody else. So they've got to drive hard. They've got to run their line. But right now, Matt Farnham holding a pretty wheel with 2 laps to go.
Driving that Hoddick Racing. Number 7NY leads the way. One up high. Alan Downey in corner number 2 gets the car back on track right in front of second place Jesse Costa. Meanwhile, Liam Martin has been able to scoot by Hannah Farrell into the 3rd spot, put Farrell back to 4th, and Brad Herron still there in 5th.
White flag, Hannah Farrell's got one more lap to try to get Liam Martin back and wind up on the podium. That would be a huge score for Farrell as she eases around the outside of Blaine Barrow to the inside of Liam Martin for 3rd.
Off a corner 4, checkers in the air for Matt Farnham. He'll pick up the victory. Second will go to Jesse Costa, who will take home 3rd. It looks like it's going to be Liam Martin.
Martin with a great drive taking 3rd. Hannah Farrell, nothing to be ashamed of, finishing 4th. Rounding out the top 5, it's Brad Herron. What a show for the Action Sprint Tour. Matt Farnham with the win, and what a battle between Farnham and Jesse Costa. A couple of drivers working all over the racetrack, and it was whoever got through that lap traffic had to be aggressive, they had to be clean, and they certainly were. Headed down to Mr. Transmission Victory Lane to meet Clinton Jeffrey. Joel Richardson from Mr. Transmission going to be down there to present some hardware to these drivers, Greg.
Lone Wolf Fireworks lighting up the sky here at the Big O tonight. The official firework provider of Ohsweken Speedway is 3 drivers about to celebrate podium finishes here tonight, and the happiest man of all right there, Matt Farnham, picks up the win as Sean Gibbs gives him the Mr. Transmission hat. We get set to send it down to Clinton Jeffrey down there in Mr. Transmission Victory Lane.
Thanks a lot, Greg. Matt Farnham gets his belts off, picks the helmet off, and gets ready to go. He'll lift the Hans device out of the way. Here he comes, Ohsweken Speedway. How about a big Victory Lane, Mr. Transmission, Ohsweken Speedway celebration. Here he comes up on the top, ladies and gentlemen. How about it for New York State's Matt Farnham? Matt, come on around, we'll get a quick word with you. Matt, solid run here tonight. Looked like lap traffic really helped you get to the front.
Yeah, Jesse was fast tonight, and he started on the front row. I started 6th. Everybody here was really good. Track was awesome, and lap traffic, I just think I handled it a little bit better and used it to my advantage. And can't thank everybody enough that helps out with this car. Trey Hoddick, Carl, Scott, Buck, my dad, Nick, everybody who came tonight. Composite Fiberworks, Merzak Trucking, just everybody here at Ohsweken putting on a great show.
You got them all, Matt. Congrats.
Thanks.
There's your winner, Matt Farnham, ladies and gentlemen. Guys, solid run for him again. We'll get over and talk to 2nd and 3rd.
With a good run for Matt Farnham, and he's got a pretty good batting average in these crate sprint cars. Been impressive in that 7NY. Now Clinton Jeffrey down there with 2nd place.
Well, Jesse, this one's got to be a bit painful. You were well out in front, then the lap cars just couldn't get through them quick enough. Did that cost you this one?
Yeah, I think so a little bit. I seen Matt on the bottom of 1 and 2, so I moved down there, and I thought we were good, and then we got bottled up in the lappers, and sometimes you win one, sometimes you lose one. We lost one this time, but I think DNO Towing, Magnum Signs, Castro Canada, Best Safety Training, Leach Performance for the awesome engine, Welders Millwrights, and Wells Foundry, and Ron Genitello Property and Building Maintenance. My dad, my crew, Steven works his ass off on this thing, and Ohsweken for the awesome facility, and the fans for coming out.
Yeah, Jesse Costa, solid run. Liam Martin, another one of our young guns. Liam, you had solid runs out of the Action Sprint Tour this year. Can you be pleased with tonight's 3rd place run?
I'm very pleased with tonight's run. It was an awesome race by the top three and every driver, but it was a tough race to race tonight. The track was slick, and Matt and Jesse were too far ahead of me for me to figure out 1 and 2 to go down low and catch them. But I'd like to thank all my sponsors, my dad, crew, everyone.
Good job, Liam Martin. How about it for our top three tonight, ladies and gentlemen? Matt Farnham gets it done. Jesse Costa and Liam Martin also in the top three for round 7 of the Action Sprint Tour.
All North Racing is brought to you by Pinty's Delicious Foods, making great food fun. Mr. Transmission, Canada's transmission and technology experts.
Take Mr. You're a friend of mine.
Back live on All North Racing, powered by Pinty's, as we get ready for the final 2 features of the Northern Summer Nationals, night number 2. Been a fantastic couple of nights. And up next, we'll have the Race of Champions Sportsman feature coming out onto the Speedway. And they will run in a 30-lap feature event. And one of the biggest names in all the sportsman world is Brad Rouse. And our own Clinton Jeffrey had a chance to catch up with Brad earlier today.
Well, we're here in the Sportsman pit area with Brad Rouse. Brad, you've got over 5 wins here at Ohsweken. A lot of experience here. What do you expect tonight?
It should be really good racing. Whenever we come here, these guys are good. They put on a good show, and just hopefully just some good clean racing and some fast times.
The track has been a little bit difficult last night with the weather. What do you expect tonight?
Hopefully slick, fast. I heard there was a lot of rain yesterday, made it a little bit fast, but with these cars, a little bit rough isn't good, same as the sprints, but it should be good. It always is good here.
Watch for Brad Rouse tonight in the Race Champion Sportsman feature coming up.
Ready to go, the ROC Sportsman feature event as things break up down to Mr. Transmission Victory Lane for the Action Sprint Tour. And they'll be back in action this weekend. And still just a handful of races left on the 2019 schedule. But it's time to turn our attention to where it all started, Adam, the Sportsman here at Ohsweken Speedway, and it's always exciting to bring modifieds back to the Big O.
This was the premier division when the track opened in 1996. Remained the premier division until I want to say the end of 2006. Greg, I think 2007 was the start of sprint cars as the headline division, if I'm not mistaken. Saw a lot of great race car drivers come through here in the Dirt Sportsman ranks, people that are top of the sport now, guys like Matt Shepard, Stuart Fries, and Chad Brockman. They all came through here in the Sportsman Tour, and they all loved coming here to race. So for the fans that have been here since the beginning, when the grandstands were a little bit smaller, the lights were a little bit dimmer, but the passion was here and the great racing was here, this is a trip down memory lane for sure.
Starting lineup for tonight's 30-lap main event for the Race of Champions Sportsman Tour. Going from the pole in car number 11 from Bloomfield, Ontario, that'll be Dan Ferguson. Alongside him, Justin Sharp in the 8S. He'll go from second. Starting in the third position, Greg Penante in the Triple J Motorsports number 99P. And going off fourth, we just heard from him on MAV TV Canada in the interview with Clinton Jeffrey. That's Brad Rouse. He's out of Fort Erie in the 18R. Starting in fifth, Dylan Davidson out of St. Catharines in the 73 machine. He'll go from fifth. Going from the sixth spot is Dave DePietro, and he drives car number 68. Rolling off seventh out of Port Colborne, that'll be Adam Leslie in car number 15. Alongside him, heavy Chevy, Chad Chevalier from Port Colborne in car number 12. Starting in the ninth position, Tyler Pachelski out of Port Colborne in the 21P, and Daryl Farrellway will start in 10th in car 66. Starting in the 11th spot, that is James Michael Friesen out of Niagara-on-the-Lake, Ontario in car 72. And alongside him, Robbie Johnston out of Ransomville, New York in the 33J. Going 13th, Trevor Wright out of Beamsville in the 09. And Jordan Costco flanks his outside out of St. Catharines in car number 17C. Starting 15th, Emily Pachelski out of Port Colborne, Ontario, the 12P. And Hall of Famer right here at the Speedway, Jay Mallory, the Mongrel, in car number 20, starts 16th. 17th starting spot goes to Joey Hermans out of here in Ontario in the 57 car. And going from the 18th spot, Sam Junkin out of Alden, New York in car number 2. 19th position will go to Chris Waters in the 119 with Matt Sharp on his outside in the 5S. Starting 21st, that'll be Lee Mallory in car 44, and Rob Souter in the 93 from Port Colborne starts 22nd. 23rd, Mike Bayor out of Colborne in the 54A. And Chris Hawkins out of Stevensville, Ontario, in the 25 will start 24th. 4 wide for you, the fans, as they come down here on the front stretch, the Race of Champions Sportsman Tour.
Greg, if I'm not mistaken, Michael Bior in the 54, the only driver not to make it out for the feature event. So 23 cars going to make up this Race of Champions feature lineup. An impressive starting field for sure.
White flag comes out. Next time by will be to the green flag with the Race of Champions Sportsman Tour. 30 laps with Dan Ferguson on the front row. If you're a Brighton Speedway fan, you know the Ferguson name. Dan Ferguson, a multi-time winner in the Canadian Modified Division, and his dad, Rick Ferguson, long-time late model driver, drove one number lower. Car number 10 is Rick Ferguson. But Dan tonight, the Bloomfield Bullet will start from the pole, and he will see the double greens from Kyle McKenzie and set the pace for us off of corner 4.
Ferguson on the inside, Justin Sharp on the outside. The green flags fly. We are underway.
They rumble down into corner number 1, and it gets busy quick. Here comes Greg Panante. He was fast in the heats, and he's out to the lead going into corner 3.
Dylan Davidson got a nice run off of turn number 2. He's up in the 3rd spot, but Brad Rouse to the inside of him. He's going to take that 3rd position. Not so fast at the stripe. Davidson wins that battle at the line. 1 lap complete.
4 wide mid-pack, and the guy on the outside is Dan Ferguson, the pole sitter, and now problems on the left front for Trevor Wright, and he will pull the 09 now down to the infield. The left front bent over on that 09 machine.
Tough ending for that driver as his night ends after completing just 1 lap of the scheduled 30-lap distance. Out in front, Greg Panante leading the way by 8 car lengths over Justin Sharp in the yellow number 8. Sharp up on the high side of the racetrack. Brad Rouse running in 3rd on the bottom.
You want to talk about a guy that's good on a dry, slick track? That guy in 3rd place, Brad Rouse. We've heard from him already, and this is what makes him so good, because when you get into New York State, you get into some dry, slick tracks, and Brad Rouse, here he is making his run on the 2nd spot on Justin Sharp. Dylan Davidson right behind them.
Greg Panante, he's got a lot of wins at this racetrack. So does Brad Rouse in the 18 machine, and they're showing that right now. They just know their way around this facility. Panante stretching that advantage a little bit over Justin Sharp in the 8S, but how much of that is being set up for the end of the race? Brad Rouse runs a lot of extra distance races, Greg, so I would expect him to have a good setup towards the end of this race, and maybe that's what he was thinking when they put the setup under the race car for this feature.
Yeah, very good point, Adam. He knows about the extra distances and how to set these cars up for those such races, as here he goes to the inside of Justin Sharp. Sharp officially now back to the 3rd spot. Dylan Davidson there in 4th, and Chad Chevalier riding inside the top 5. Adam Leslie just on the outside in the 15 car. He's running in the 6th spot, and right behind him, Daryl Fairway and Dave DiPietro are going at it.
I like what Chevalier did last time in 3 and 4. He pitches the car in a little bit sideways, gets it to take a set, and he's really able to drive straight through turn 4. So in effect, you're almost making the front straightaway a little bit longer to carry more speed down into turn 1.
Dan Ferguson, the pole sitter, has pulled off now on lap number 8, so troubles for the Bloomfield, Ontario driver, as Greg Panante sets the pace, but Brad Rouse looks to be closing the gap.
Nearly a 2-second advantage last time at the stripe. This time as they come by, Brad Rouse has picked up nearly half a second on Greg Panante in the 99P. But anybody in this top 5 still within contention, Greg.
3rd, 4th, and 5th, running some different lines right now, although Chad Chevalier and the Justin Sharp machine running just higher than Dylan Davidson, and those 3 have been kind of going back and forth.
So curious to watch these drivers. It's just very, very minor differences in the lines they run, where they start to get on the throttle, where they, I don't want to say they're ever coasting, but there are times when you're just letting the suspension do the work through the turn, and then there's times when you're trying to get back to the throttle and really put the power down as Chad Chevalier goes to the inside of Justin Sharp.
Top two remain about 4 or 5 car lengths apart. Greg Panante leading, beginning to catch the tail end of the field. Rouse in second, Davidson running third. He's put a little distance on himself between he and Chad Chevalier and Justin Sharp. Chevalier just got by Sharp. Sharp's going to shoot back by on the bottom.
Great battle back there for the 4th position as Greg Panante closing in on some slower traffic right now, and he's been committed to the bottom every single lap in that 99, and he may have to get up off the bottom unless he wants to try to wedge himself to the inside and get a little assertive on this lap traffic.
Brad Rouse up on that outside line. We'll see if the gap closes this time by, and it does. Cut it in half. 6/10.
Greg Panante with a nice move to get to the inside of that slower traffic. He'll clear both of them off of turn 2 down into 3. Now it's up to Rouse to try to do the same thing as the cross flags mean. Halfway through this one, 15 laps down, 15 laps to go.
Panante, Rouse right there, a couple car lengths apart. They've got some distance on Dylan Davidson, but he has closed the gap here in about the last 5-6 laps in that number 73 machine.
Davidson really charged turn number 3 and got the car slowed up enough to keep it on the bottom of the racetrack. That's an exciting line being run by that number 73 machine. The entire top 5, unless I'm crazy, seems to be closing back in like an accordion, Greg.
And right behind them, Adam Leslie and James Michael Friesen not far off of this fight inside the top 5. They're right there within striking distance of Chad Chevalier.
Brad Rouse just 2 car lengths off the back bumper of Greg Panante going into 1 and 2. Panante got off the corner a lot better, picked up about 3 car lengths down the backstretch, but Rouse able to close that distance, watch it slip away. This is what we watched earlier on in the feature event for the Thunderstock division, the way things spread out and close back in.
Greg Panante, Brad Rouse, Dylan Davidson, the top 3 now make it the top 6. Well, now 7 as Adam Leslie gets by a lap car. Top 7 are all clear of lap traffic.
And all on the same straightaway. Right now, Greg Panante, if he had a rear view mirror, it'd be a great time to just grab it and throw it out the race car. You don't want to see what's going on behind you. He's led the entire distance so far. The bottom is working pretty well for him, and he stays out in front by that 4 car lengths or so over Brad Rouse, as Kyle McKenzie both hands down in front of these drivers saying there's 10 laps left.
This is where things will get interesting. If you've set your car up for the longer run here tonight, this 30-lap feature, it's time to show what you've got. Brad Rouse kind of searching around, it seems, though.
Well, and Rouse has been doing that the entire race. He's not run the same line an awful lot. We're going to see if that pays off for him. Greg Panante has not varied from the line he's been running, but of course, why would he? It's been working for him as Brad Rouse sails that car into 3 and 4 on the outside.
Here he comes around the outside of corner 4. 2 lap cars directly in front of Greg Panante as the leaders go down into corner number 1. Rouse is there and shows the nose a little bit on the left rear of that 99P machine. That's the closest he's been all night. Here he comes on the outside line with lap traffic in between.
Panante trying to get that nose to the inside. This is a big moment for Greg Panante. If he can clear this lap traffic without having to stray from his line, that'll be a huge deal for the driver of the number 99.
The driver that likes the lap traffic the most, I think, is Dylan Davidson. He's caught the top 2 now. He's right there on the back bumper of the 18R of Brad Rouse, working off of corner number 4. Panante leads at the line over Rouse, Davidson, Chevalier, and James Michael Friesen.
And that's the driver by far with the least amount of experience is Dylan Davidson in the 73. You would think that would not bode well for him in slow traffic, but it seems to be working just fine as he works his way through as Chad Chevalier again pitches the car up into 3, drives it hard off of turn number 4. Man, I love that move by Chevalier. We have got a great battle for the lead.
Panante, Rouse, Chevalier, all right there, as well as Dylan Davidson. Dylan Davidson gets shuffled back into the 4th position as the leaders have worked by Joey Harriman, so the top 2 break free as Davidson and Chevalier continue to go back and forth.
Chevalier up about 2 lanes off the bottom of the racetrack. Dylan Davidson right around the concrete wall on the inside, which makes slower traffic a big story. Chevalier going to drive into 3 like he's been doing. Drive it off the cushion to the inside. What a move by Chevalier.
Down in corner one, Brad Rouse is right there on the back bumper of Greg Penante. As they get into the corners, the differential closes, and Rouse trying to work it down the hill off of corner 4. He's right there.
Well, Greg Penante having to go to the high groove, well, just off the bottom to try to get around the slower traffic. Penante goes around, clips Chad Chevalier. Chevalier clips James Michael Friesen. Oh, my goodness. What an unfortunate turn of events for Greg Penante in the 99. I really want to see this replay. Greg Penante visibly upset inside that race car, hands out the window.
Led the first 28 laps of this one. And we'll have a chance to see the replay.
I almost wonder if the contact with Brad Rouse jammed the steering wheel out of his hand. Let's watch the front tires. Yeah. Okay, the contact with the front upset the car, and then the back end of Brad Rouse's 18 kind of slapped into the back end of the 99. I'd like to see this angle one more time. What are your thoughts on it, Greg?
Right front of Rouse into the left front of Penante, and I think you're right. It just, that sent him kicking around. It upset the car.
We haven't heard anything from race officials just yet. Greg Penante takes his beautiful number 99 Gaston's Auto Sales car to the pit area.
2 laps to go. These are the things you expect to happen, Adam, I guess.
Well, you're racing hard for the win. I'm not going to say it was dirty. I'm not going to say it wasn't, but you got drivers racing hard for the win. It looked to me as though Greg Penante had come off the bottom of the racetrack to try to navigate that slower traffic. Brad Rouse stayed a little more committed to the bottom groove and drove it in hard. How many times have we seen that? With the same cast of characters, Greg, these drivers have been racing hard like this for 20 years at racetracks, Humberstone Speedway, Merrittville Speedway, and racing on the Sportsman Tour where they go to racetracks throughout New York as well.
Not sure if we can have another look at that replay. The corner 2 camera really caught the best view of it from the rooftop. Dave Steyer's camera up top. Brad's car kind of blocks the action, so this view kind of hard to see. But the corner 2 replay, hopefully we'll get a chance to see. That's where we'll see the contact, the front wheels. Here we go.
Back to green. 2 laps remain to settle this one. Chad Chevalier, he took a hard lick as well, but he's still out there turning laps in that 12 machine. And James Michael Friesen, who has not really been a factor tonight, is up there challenging for the lead as we've got one stopped in turn number 1.
So I believe we're going to come back to the caution flag as Sam Junkin has brought out the yellow as he looped it around in corner number 1. So back under the caution with still 2 laps left to go. And on the replay of this one, just see him loop it around. I'm not sure. I missed the very start of that, if maybe he made contact with the corner 1 wall down on the inside and then bounced up and spun around. But nonetheless, single car spin.
Looks like we will go 1 to go. Still 28 laps on the board of a scheduled 30-lap feature distance. I've got to say, none of our feature events here last night or tonight have really disappointed, Greg. They've had a lot of action, a lot of challenges for position. Probably Dave Bailey might have been the most dominant performance so far, but even that, his lead was rarely more than a couple of car lengths.
What you want is good action and some storylines. We've had a lot of that so far here over the 2 days, and I'm sure before the night ends, there's maybe going to be a discussion over in the Sportsman pit area, because I don't think Greg Penante's too happy over what happened there, and rightfully so. He had the car to beat, it looked like, early on.
Brad Rouse inching James Michael Friesen up the racetrack through 3 and 4. Friesen kind of rolling around the front end of the 18. Both of them hard on the throttle off of turn 4. I like the run Friesen got as Davidson bounces off the 12 of Chevalier.
Here comes Brad Rouse digging down on the inside. James Michael Friesen on the outside. As they go into corner number 3, side by side. This time by, we will see the white flag. One more trip around for the race of champion sportsmen.
Beautiful crossover for James Michael Friesen coming off of turn 4. Rouse going to try to return the favor in 1 and 2.
Down the back stretch they go for the final time. JMF will lead them into corner number 3 and a car up and over on its side. And that will bring us under the red flag.
Red flag comes out to stop the action, so keep in mind, no checkered flag was thrown. That's a red flag.
Dave DiPietro is the one over on his side, the 68. So the field will come to a stop up in corner 2.
If I were them, I wouldn't head to the pits unless Joe Scott Nicky told them to. Okay, we're hearing the next flag after the white does end the race, so I believe we do have our top 3, James Michael Friesen, Brad Rouse, and Dylan Davidson.
So the safety crew will work on the Dave DiPietro machine, and I believe the top 3 will need to go across the scales before they come down to Mr. Transmission Victory Lane. So we'll come back with the interviews here on All North Racing, powered by Pinty's. All North Racing is brought to you by Lucas Oil. Made in America, sold to the world. Go to InsideTrackNews.com for an exclusive subscription offer for MAV TV Canada viewers. Use promo code MAVTV. Back live on All North Racing, powered by Pinty's, down to Mr. Transmission Victory Lane, Clinton Jeffrey.
James Michael Friesen picks up the win here in the Race of Champions Sportsman Tour. Jimmy, pretty good running.
Yeah, car was good. Redrawn 11, starting at the back there. We had some tough competition starting up front, so it took me a little bit to get there. And then looked like the leaders kind of got together, which got me a nice caution, got me 2 free spots, got me up there to race with Brad. And it would have been cool to go one more lap to see what he could have thrown at me, but the car was good, and I'm happy to be out here in front of all these people tonight.
Good job, James. That car, you were using all kinds of lanes around. Talk about the contact there when they got together in 1 and 2. You definitely took a lick. Were you worried?
I was, but I pulled up beside Chad, and I was kind of freaking out in my own head going, oh, man, I bent something up, and he just gave me the old, don't worry about it. So went from there, and it worked out.
Good job. James Michael Friesen picks up the win here tonight on All North Racing, powered by Pinty's. We'll turn up to you guys. We'll get second and third ready. We'll get right back to you.
When you're battling with someone for the lead, do you take their word for it that your car's okay? I'll keep going on. Well, it worked out good for James Michael Friesen. As we send it down, the runner-up tonight, Brad Rouse with Clinton Jeffrey.
Thanks a lot, guys. Brad Rouse just making his way around the car. Brad, you were in this one all night. First off, the elephant in the room. What happened with Ponante?
I just got underneath him and trying to squeeze down a little bit, and we come together, and he went around. So I don't know what happened. Like I said, it was underneath. He was dealing with a lap car, tried to go to the outside and switch lanes as I was already underneath. But
still an amazing run here for you. I think this is the best track we've had for the sportsman cars in the last 5 years. Amazing surface for you guys. Did you have fun tonight?
Oh yeah, for sure. We always have fun when we come here. The track's always great, and you know what I mean. The hospitality and everything here is great. So.
Thanks, Chad. There you have it from Brad Rouse. The other guy, Heavy Chevy, Chad Chevalier. Chad, you were making moves out there. It almost looked like a bit of a hockey match up there. Elbows up the whole race. Tough sledding.
Yeah, we unfortunately we got caught up with that in that ordeal there. Ended up catching them there in lap traffic. Was hoping to do something, but it is the way it is, and we'll move on. It was a good race. Thanks to all the fans to be here, and Ohsweken for having us again.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen, your top three tonight. James Michael Friesen, Brad Rouse, and Chad Chevalier get it done for the Race of Champions Sportsman Tour here at the Northern Summer Nationals.
When we come back, it's time for the main event. The 360 Sprint Cars will head to the racing surface here on All North Racing, powered by Pinty's. All North Racing is brought to you by Pinty's Delicious Foods, making great food fun. Production support provided by Enrium Dynamics. Broadband services provided by Indicative Solutions.
Back here in the pits before we get going with Rico Aber, last night's winner. Rico, pretty safe to say you're enjoying your stay in Canada after last night's drive?
I have. It's been pretty good. My car was really good last night. The track surface, with the weather in the area, it turned out okay, and I kind of just led the thing to the front. So I didn't make too many mistakes, and I just made sure I hit my marks there at the end. So I had a lot of fun.
Track conditions are expected to be quite a bit different. Obviously, weather come in a half hour before we go with cars on the track, and things get a little bit wild. What do you expect tonight out there?
I think tonight's going to be a lot slicker. I went and looked at the track. The surface is definitely harder. The sun's been out all day, and that's more of the surface that I've seen at Ohsweken. Not that I've been here every weekend to race, but just off the videos I've watched, it's a slicker surface. I think it puts on a little bit better racing, so I'm really looking forward to tonight.
100%. Good luck tonight, Rico.
Thanks.
Things breaking up down to Mr. Transmission Victory Lane, so time to get ready for the big show. The Cool Kids Ice and Water Core Pack Merchandising Sprint Cars ready to go with their 30-lap main event. Tonight's starting lineup for tonight's main event looks like this, going from the pole out of Norman, Oklahoma, the Victory Games Originals Traders Energy Bear Paw Convenience 67. It'll be Christopher Bell. Starting second from Alden, New York, the Casey's Truck Salvage Fiberworks Composite Merzak Enterprises number 49, the straight shooter Scott Kruder. Starting in third from Harding, Pennsylvania, the Mechanical Service Company 79, Jordan Thomas alongside him. In the fourth starting spot out of Fenwick, Ontario, the Bradshaw Brothers Fuels Gibbons Contracting car number 0. That is the Red Rocket, Jim Hoopinen. Going off fifth out of Sunbury, Pennsylvania, the Foundation's 55, number 55 of Mark Smith. And going from sixth out of Fenwick in the Digital Detail Clearshot Customs 27H, the Fenwick Flyer, Tom Hoopinen. Going from seventh out of Scotland, Ontario, the Original Traders Energy Sovereign Fusion Burford Heating and Air Conditioning car number 47X, D-Dubs, Dylan Westbrook. And on his outside from Rushville, Indiana, in the Toco Rush Truck Center's Curb Records 14 Smoke, Tony Stewart. Going from ninth out of Clay, New York, the Longley Jones Company's number 98, Joe Trenka. And alongside him in the 10th starting position from Keister Center in the Burger Barn Ace 1 Construction Mobile 1, number 13, it'll be Corey Turner. Starting 11th out of Lyde, Ohio, the MW Construction 17M, that is Max Stambaugh. And going from 12th out of Wantage, New Jersey, in the Dave Franek Auto Sales, number 28F, it's Davey Franek. Starting 13th from St. Matthew de Beloeil, Quebec, the Four Seasons Foundation, 28 of Jordan Poirier. And from 14th out of Brewerton, New York, the Pit Stop Convenience Stores, 87 of Racing Jason Barney. Starting 15th out of Brantford, Ontario, the CarQuest Auto Parts Brown Auto Service, number 10 of downtown Mitch Brown. And on his outside from Mississauga, Ontario, the CarStar Brantford Nitro 54 Variety Ripshot 17X, the highlight man, Mac DeMann. Going from 17th out of Keister Center in the Kingpin Farms, Aiken Motors Burger Barn 91, it's Ryan Turner. And starting in position number 18 out of St. Matthew de Beloeil, Quebec, the Four Seasons Foundation, 28 FM, the Fireball, Steve Poirier. Starting in position number 19 out of Thedford, Ontario, in the Coldwell Banker by Jennifer Hatch, A to Z Expediting 5D, Shane Ross. And alongside him at the 20th position from Bradford, Pennsylvania, the Bundle of Warmth Zimbardi Electric, 35, the Juice, Jared Zimbardi. Starting 21st out of Loma, New York, in the Tioga Construction 3, it's Denny Peebles. And on his outside, last night's winner out of St. Helena, California, the Abreu Vineyards, Curb Records, Lucas Oil, 24 of Rico Abreu. Going 23rd out of St. Pete, Quebec, in the Veloci car number 3G, it's Dale Goslin. And from 24th out of Ohsweken, the Case IH Rochester Nighthawks, Air Express, 68 of Aaron Turkey. And in the back row, starting 25th out of Brantford, in the Hills Tire and Gas, Brown Auto Service, Little Ben 110, Jake Brown. And from the 26th and final starting position out of Keister Center in the Charlie B. Honey, Pyatt Spring Alignment, Mudcat Entertainment Center, number 11, it'll be Jamie Turner. 26 cars, 30 laps. The final event of the Northern Summer Nationals brought to you by Burger Barn, Aero Express, Nitro 54 Variety, and Bradshaw Brothers Fuels.
It is bound to be a good one, Greg. You look at this racetrack as we see the Strickland's GMC Pace Truck down in 1 and 2. There's some moist clay down on the inside of turn 1, and there's some way up on the outside, almost on the way to the parking lot. And I think we're going to see these cars run every groove in between wherever there's some clean real estate. But I think the big speed is, like Glenn Steyer said earlier, the extreme bottom, the extreme top.
The starting lineup determined amongst the top drivers in a redraw. I believe it'd be the top 10, was it tonight? Top 2 go to the redraw? So top 10 to the redraw. And if you're all the other competitors and you look at who drew the pole, like this guy needed any more help, Christopher Bell draws number 1. And look for him to be pretty quick right off the start. He's looking for redemption after last night having a solid handle on the feature event before blowing the right rear tire. So Christopher Bell in that Victory Games 67 is right where he wants to be on the pole position.
They say in racing you're better to be lucky than good. I say you're better to be both. Good and lucky is a great combination in this sport, and Christopher Bell going to start from the front. He was at the front last night, and it didn't end well for him.
Last night's winner, Rico Abreu's got a lot of work to do coming from the B main. So we'll see what he has. Tony Stewart's had a much better night here tonight than what he had last night.
I think this is going to be a racetrack where you can make up some positions. I think there's going to be room out there to negotiate traffic. I don't know why. I've just got a feeling I'm going to keep an eye on Mitch Brown and that number 10. I don't know why. I just feel like this is the kind of racetrack where he can excel on.
Tonight reminds me, this racing surface reminds me of some of the Canadian Sprint Car Nationals A-main tracks that we've seen in the past, and they always produce such great racing. And to what you said, those are the tracks where you can come from deep in the field. We've seen it happen before. Ask Brian Howland in the 51. Maybe one of the greatest races we've seen at this track ever was Brian Howland making his run and picking up that win. But there were 5 drivers on that night that were all there in a pack that could have won.
It was arguably the best sprint car race ever run.
It was.
It was a crazy good sprint car race.
So Rick Scott in the Strickland Brantford Chevrolet Pace truck leads the field around. Get everyone into formation for our final event of the 2019 Northern Summer Nationals. Want to thank everyone that's tuned in here on All North Racing, powered by Pinty's. Those here live in attendance. It's been a great 2 days of action. We couldn't have asked for anything more in that respect.
Mother Nature cooperated today. Mother Nature was a race fan today. Yesterday, she threw us some curveballs, gave us some challenges.
Kyle McKenzie tells the field it's time to take formation with a 4-wide salute. They'll all tuck in behind that Strickland GMC Pace truck and head down the back stretch. So ladies and gentlemen, we want you on your feet to wave these drivers on, even for those of you at home. Get excited. You're about to see 30 laps of some of the best sprint car racing anywhere. They are 4 wide and fancy. For you, the fans, this is the Cool Kids Ice and Water Core Pack Merchandising Sprint Cars. Backstretch, they're still in formation for you as well. Send these drivers on 4 wide. A fantastic view.
What a field of cars. What a collection of race car drivers this is.
And another driver from this A-main tonight will punch their ticket into the Canadian Sprint Car Nationals as well. Rico Abreu has a guaranteed starting spot for September 14th here at Ohsweken Speedway. So another driver here tonight could get their name added to the list.
How much do you want to bet? At least 20 drivers just got on the throttle when they spread out like that and thought, wow, this is going to be a handful. I think there's a few of them that embrace it. I think there's a few that are shocked at what they felt, and that's not much grip.
Well, we're going to find out next time around. White flag is being displayed. Next time by, we're going green flag racing for 30 laps. 2x2, 13 rows of beautifully prepared sprint cars ready to come to life. Christopher Bell, Scott Kruder on the front row. The Strickland GM Pace truck pulls off on the backstretch. Kyle McKenzie with double greens in hand. Ladies and gentlemen, you came looking for a show. Well, here you go. Let's end all the anticipation as we bring to you our feature presentation. They rumble, bumble, stumble down into corners 1 and 2. Christopher Bell and Scott Kruder will lead them down the backstretch for the first time.
Good clean start, a little bit of contact off of turn number 2 in the middle of the pack. Drivers trying to find their groove. We got one car, looked a little bit slow in 3 and 4, back up to speed now. It was Jason Barney in the 87. At the front, it's Christopher Bell over Scott Kruder and Jordan Thomas.
Yeah, Jordan Thomas back there in third. Jim Hoopinen's had a really good night tonight in that Glenn Stires Racing number 0, and he's got that car hooked up, running fourth right now.
The top 4 have pulled away from the 5th place car. I believe that's Joe Trenka on the inside of the back straightaway, battling with Mark Smith in the 55. Dylan Westbrook in the 47X in that mix as well. He looks to the inside of Trenka. Trenka closes the door down into turn number 1. Mitch Brown, you can already see his brake rotor glowing red out there on that blue number 10.
Yeah, he gets the nickname Downtown Mitch Brown because he likes that lower inside line sometimes. Trouble down off of corner 4 for the 13 of Corey Turner. That car will break and pull off into the infield.
He'll roll up onto Mr. Transmission victory lane. He is out of harm's way. I believe we will stay under green out in front. Christopher Bell starting to extend that advantage. And Greg, we're only about 2 laps from lap traffic. Problems for Jim Hoopinen in the Ohsweken Speedway number 0.
Oh, what a shame for Jim Hoopinen. Been so strong all night from the heats on out, and he is coasting up the high side of 1 and will not be able to make it to the pit area. So we're under our first caution flag with 5 laps up on the scoreboard, 25 left to go. There we see the red rocket. And that is Jim Hoopinen in the Glenn Stires own 0 machine.
How fair is it when 2 brothers go racing? One of them's nickname is the Fenwick Flyer and the other is Red Rocket, which I can't listen to without giggling just a little bit.
Very quickly pushed to the pit area. Not sure if he will need assistance or will need his 2 minutes in the work area or not. Try and find that out quickly.
We'll hope he has good brakes for the speed they were going heading down into the pits. Christopher Bell with lots of top wing cranked into that 67. That top wing just about standing on its nose. Our race later, as you look through the field, I would say nobody has their wing pitched quite any more steeply than does Christopher Bell. There's some people that have it pitched as steeply maybe.
Now, we've talked a lot about Christopher Bell, how good he is, how well he's attacked this track in the last 2 days. We haven't talked much about that car. That car is a 2-time Canadian Sprint Car Nationals winning car with crew chief Daryl Turford and the Hills Racing team and all that they do with Parker Price Miller. So Christopher Bell also, although he is an extremely talented driver, and we've seen him really run well, that's still a really good car and a team that knows how to get it done in big races here at Ohsweken.
Watching, is that Clinton Jeffrey running through the infield of the racetrack? And that must mean that he doesn't run for nothing. So something going on down there that they want to get addressed.
Parker Price Miller, the most recent Canadian Sprint Car Nationals winner in 2018. With one of my favorite nicknames in racing, the law firm. Parker Price Miller.
Fabulous nickname. So some of these sportsman cars being pulled back to the pit area. They were kind of stuck out in the infield during their race, but now that we have the opportunity with that 2-minute work area back in the pits for Jim Hoopanen, it's a good opportunity for the tow trucks to clear the infield of those race cars, because I'm sure at some point they'll want to go home. Hoopanen is back on the racetrack. We're going to come to green this time. Doug Leonard, the race director, says lights are out on the pace vehicle. It's time to go.
It's been a good marriage, Jim Hoopanen with the Glenn Steyer's racing team, 2-time champion here at Ohsweken Speedway, and he's been good since picking up that ride about a month ago, and now his brother, Tom Hoopanen, into the pit area. Oh, coming to the green flag, Scott Kruder got a little itchy on the trigger there, and that's going to cost him on that restart.
Yeah, getting way out was Christopher Bell. I was watching another mishap deeper into the field. I'm not sure if it was Poirier's mishap or Davey Franik's mishap, because they're both number 28. But one of them got out of line coming across the cone for the restart. Just got things bottled up a little bit deep in the field.
Just shows you how important it is on these restarts to try and get a good jump. And that will be interesting to see if anyone was penalized. My thought was maybe it was Poirier that got by Franek and was not supposed to pass him. Nonetheless, Christopher Bell leading. He is out in front over Scott Kruder, Jordan Thomas, Mark Smith, and D-Dubs. Dylan Westbrook has joined the mix.
Well, Dylan Westbrook still wants to get some after his problems last night with the wing coming apart on that 47X. You know he's going to be up on the wheel as Christopher Bell has opened up an advantage. Not really driving away though, Greg. Scott Kruder able to keep him in his sights. Mark Smith back there in third as well. Jordan Thomas. All these drivers are still within striking distance of the race leader. 30 laps is a long sprint car race.
Impressive to watch Christopher Bell as he just throws it in to the high side, doing exactly what Glenn Steyers was talking about earlier. Go in as far as you possibly can. He just pitches it in with no fear and rim rides it around, already catching the back of the pack.
That's something you need a lot of confidence in your own ability in the race car and, of course, in the racetrack. Christopher Bell has all of those things working for him tonight as he closes in on Linton Jeffrey and Jamie Turner.
Christopher Bell right there in the back end of Linton Jeffrey, and that will cause him to come down the track, split through the two lap cars of Turner and Linton Jeffrey, and down into corner one. And he's increasing his advantage over Scott Kruder, who's now feeling some pressure from Mark Smith, who's going to get a run down corner two and take the second spot away.
And Kruder looked like he aggressively slowed up as Jamie Turner in the 11 peels down onto the infield. Looks like his race will be done. Not sure if Kruder had a problem or what he might have been reacting to.
Kruder, Smith, Dylan Westbrook right there, second, third, and fourth. Westbrook in the mix in this one here tonight. Troubles up on the high side, I believe, once again, Jim Hoopanen.
Hoopanen way up out of the groove on turn number 4, comes to rest on the outside of the racetrack. Hoopanen will wait for the push truck to come and get him.
So on the caution here on lap number 12 of 30 here tonight, Christopher Bell leads over Mark Smith, Scott Kruder third, Dylan Westbrook fourth, Jordan Thomas fifth, Jordan Poirier running right now in 6th, 7th is Mac DeMann, 8th is Ryan Turner, 9th Max Stambaugh, and 10th Joe Trenka. Jason Barney back in 11th, Tony Stewart running in 12th, 13th Steve Poirier, 14th Rico Abreu. He's made up a lot of track position here. Mitch Brown completes the top 15.
Guys, not sure what happened to Jim Hoopanen. Looks like they locked it back into gear and pushed him off. The other zero machine of Linton Jeffrey retired to the pits on this same caution.
Well, that will be a fortunate break for Mark Smith, because I believe Linton Jeffrey would have restarted between the race leader Christopher Bell and the 55 of Mark Smith, if I'm not mistaken. Now Smith will have a clear look at the back end of Christopher Bell. Scott Kruder third in the 49, fourth Dylan Westbrook in the 47X, and rounding out the top 5, Jordan Thomas in the 79.
Coming back to the green flag, and we'll see if things are a little cleaner than the last restart. Work it down the banking. Wow, what a line by Christopher Bell.
That was aggressive. cranked it hard to the left, down the hill, got a run, but not enough to keep Mark Smith from throwing a slider into turn number 1. Mark Smith to the lead, Christopher Bell going back to the inside. He'll slide up in front of the 55 to take the lead back.
Bell has it, but Smith not going away. The Sunbury, Pennsylvania driver digging down deep on the inside line. Here he comes up in front of Bell. He'll put the slider on. Bell now will look back down low, going down the back stretch and into corner 3.
Jordan Thomas with a big restart in that 79, jumped up into the 3rd position. Dylan Westbrook trying to get it back. Another slider by Mark Smith on Christopher Bell. What a battle at the front.
Out in front, it's Smith over Bell. Bell gets a great run off of 2. Down to the inside he goes. Down to the bottom in corner number 3. Now he'll pull the slide job. But Smith now down, back to the bottom. He'll try to return the favor and does.
Crossover move by Mark Smith as they reach the halfway point of this 30-lap Northern Summer Nationals feature event.
Down the backstretch another time. Mark Smith, he's been so close to victory here, yet has not been able to do it. Christopher Bell wants to keep it that way. Around the outside, Smith shuts the door at the line.
What great finesse by both of these drivers. Absolute understanding of where their race car is, where their competitor is, showing a little bit of respect right now. As I think as the laps wind down, you got to throw that out the window at some point. They might erupt there in turn number 4.
Wow, you don't get any closer than that without wrecking as Tony Stewart now pulls the 14 off. What a battle at the front. Bell on the outside takes the lead back.
Christopher Bell has found something on that exit of turn 2 where he's able to find some grip and really get a good run. But don't look now. Here comes Dylan Westbrook in the 47X.
Yeah, he's right there, and if anyone has a better chance of catching these two here locally than Dylan Westbrook, I'm not sure who it would be. He's right there. He can see the top 2, and he's closed ground now on Mark Smith.
Man, he drove that car hard into turn number 3. Christopher Bell extending that advantage. Look at the traffic looming for these race leaders. Once they hit this lap traffic, they might stay in it for the rest of this race.
Jordan Thomas is right there as well. He's working the inside line. Everyone else in the top 5 up at the high side of the track, but it right now is Jordan Thomas making it work on the bottom.
Dylan Westbrook in that 47. What a line he is running. What a battle. Christopher Bell is getting away, but the battle for second rages on. Mark Smith in that 2nd position. Right behind him, of course, Jordan Thomas in the 79. Dylan Westbrook in the 47X.
So the leader, Christopher Bell, able to pull away in lap traffic here. Mark Smith has a couple of lap cars between he and the leader. And then it's Dylan Westbrook in 3rd, who's trying to hold off Jordan Thomas and Jordan Poirier.
Mark Smith's got to find something in that 55. Right now, Christopher Bell doing a great job picking his way through this traffic. He just got around Jared Zimbardi in the 35. Right in front of him now, I believe, is last night's winner, Rico Abreu in the 24. No, I'm wrong. That's the 10 and Mitch Brown. My mistake.
But Rico's not too far from going a lap down. He's about a straightaway away from Christopher Bell. So last night's winner struggling here tonight to keep pace with the top 5.
A vastly different racetrack. 6 laps to go this time. Christopher Bell continues to lead Mark Smith. He is not giving up. Keeping about the same distance back as he has been the last few laps. He just needs one good break here.
Smith has some clear room now. No lap cars between he and the leader. The big high 5 from Kyle McKenzie. Bell leads him across the line. Smith in 2nd. 3rd right now, Dylan Westbrook. 4th, Jordan Thomas. 5th, Jordan Poirier.
Jordan Poirier having a nice run, the young driver from Quebec, giving that 28 machine a good ride. It's Christopher Bell still out in front over Mark Smith. There's nothing between them. No lap traffic between Bell and 2nd place Smith. A few more cars ahead of him. He is not clear of the traffic yet.
Going by for the 4th spot is Poirier. It's not Steve, though. Jordan Poirier having a fantastic run here tonight in that 28 car. He is up to the 4th spot, tracking down Dylan Westbrook.
Christopher Bell on the outside got around Aaron Turkey. It almost looked like Turkey was about to pass him back as he sails it into 3. That is a treacherous corner when you run that hard into the turn. What a slide job for the 3rd position. Jordan Poirier trying to clear Dylan Westbrook. Just about put it in the fence.
Wow, that was intense there. Dylan Westbrook remains in 3rd, this time by White flag comes out for Christopher Bell out of Norman, Oklahoma. One more lap. Can he hold off Mark Smith?
To the extreme outside in 1 and 2. He's still dealing with traffic, but he's been dealing with it almost all race long.
Off of corner 3 and 4. Looks like second time is a charm. Ring the bell. Christopher Bell gets the win here at Ohsweken Speedway. Mark Smith second at the line. Dylan Westbrook third. Jordan Poirier fourth. And Jordan Thomas will complete our top 5. Max Stambaugh, Steve Poirier, Ryan Turner, Mac DeMann, and Davey Franick complete the top 10.
What a race it was. What a show for these fans. Christopher Bell. It was slide job city here at the Big O tonight, Greg. Back and forth with Mark Smith. Slide jobs, crossovers, maybe a little bit of rubbing at one point, but a whole lot of respect among these race car drivers. And what a feature event. And what a question we've got to pose to young Christopher Bell. He is locked into the Canadian Sprint Car Nationals in September.
Rico Abreu takes home night 1. Christopher Bell gets the win on night 2 of the Northern Summer Nationals, brought to you by Burger Barn, Aero Express, Nitro 54 Variety, and Bradshaw Brother Fuels. The top 3 head down to Mr. Transmission Victory Lane. What a top 3 it is, as Christopher Bell parks the victory games. Hills Racing number 67 down on the concrete pad. And as I said before, this team no stranger to big money races here at the Big O. Hills Racing, 2-time Canadian Sprint Car Nationals winners. And here's Christopher Bell up top, the winner. Here tonight, Clinton Jeffrey down in Mr. Transmission Victory Lane.
Well, Ohsweken Speedway, how about a big Ohsweken Speedway, Mr. Transmission Victory Lane welcome for Christopher Bell. World fireworks lighting up the skies we do every week here. We'll get in here and have a word with Christopher. He works his way around the front of the car. You can hear you now, Ohsweken. How about it for Christopher Bell? Christopher, what a drive here tonight. You got to be pretty pleased with how the night went, man. Last night you were lightning quick, didn't quite put the finishing touches on it, but tonight you sure did.
Yeah, this thing was a ton of fun to drive. The track is, man, it's awesome whenever it's like that. You could kind of run wherever you wanted to run. So both nights had a totally different track, and both of them were really fun to race on. So thank you to Ohsweken Speedway for bringing me out here. It's a ton of fun to get to go to new places, and the guys here with Glenn, and yeah, Glenn does a great job taking care of me. So thank you.
Talk about that run with you and Mark Smith, man. That went on for a long time, slide job after slide job, within inches of each other.
Yeah, we were racing pretty close there, and I felt like if I could ever get my momentum up, I'd be okay, but whenever I saw 55 on the board, I knew that this is his deal, you know, really slick, and thankfully my car was good enough where I could hold him off.
There you have it. Christopher Bell gets it done here on All North Racing, powered by Pinty's. The big star gets it done.
Happy young man down there, and we were very happy to have him here at Ohsweken Speedway. Gets the win on night number 2. Clinton Jeffrey ready down there with 2nd and 3rd place.
Well, we got Mark Smith here. Mark, what a difference 24 hours make, man. You junked a car so bad last night and came back and almost won it tonight with one of the best in the business. You got to be pleased tonight.
Yeah, we were actually pretty good last night. We were just a little too tight, and I put myself in a bad spot last night. And but you know, it's the same for everybody. You got to keep it on all fours. I just want to thank everybody, Patrick and Max and Alex, for helping getting this backup car out, and this thing's just as good as the other one. So just want to thank them, Foundations 55, CSI Shocks, Pixel Graphics, Hoosier Tires, Ryder Racing Engines. I just the whole deal, and it's a pretty good race there with Bell for a while. I thought I had him. I just needed to be in traffic so I could keep him back there, because I thought I found something there in the middle, and I gave him the top, and he actually got back going again on the top. I probably should have just went up there, but you just never know when you pass somebody through the middle, and then you don't think you can get them back up the top. But it was a good race.
We have Mark Smith second. Also with me is Dylan Westbrook. Dylan third tonight. Again, another guy whose luck changed in 24 hours. You were fast last night as well, but tonight you almost got it done. What kept you from catching these top two, Dylan? Was it starting deep in the pack?
Yeah, the starting position definitely affected a little bit. Just had to take a bit more time to get up to him, but yeah, but we could have just been a bit tighter with the car. Just more experience on tracks like this, but I think this really helped us out for the Nationals later on in the year. So I think really good though, but really good competition with Bell and Mark Smith here. Like they're some of the best guys when it comes to tracks like this.
Thanks, Dylan. There you have it, guys. Our top three, Christopher Bell, Mark Smith, and Dylan Westbrook, get it done. Two absolutely fantastic nights here for the Northern Summer Nationals Ohsweken. I want to thank everybody who made this happen, and thanks to you guys for doing a great job. That's all from trackside.
Great job down trackside, Clinton Jeffrey, as always, and some happy drivers down there. And when you come home third place behind Mark Smith and Christopher Bell, that's still a pretty good night for Dylan Westbrook, and made a name for himself.
Absolutely. What a great show. What a great drive these guys put on, guys and gals. Phenomenal racing. We saw 8 fantastic feature events. What a show. The cream rises to the top, and we saw the best of the best, Greg. We're going to have a look at a highlight package from this week's races, a minute and a half of all the action we've seen over the last 2 nights.